And we are live. Give some time for people to show up. Last minute decision on the topic. We'll definitely have an open panel if people want to jump on. And if the topic deviates, then so be it.
Hey guys, I wanted to talk about the great deception in relation to the world diet, or currently where the large corporations are trying to push the public. The great nutritional deception started to occur as early as the beginning of the 20th century with the adoption of seed oils that replaced the traditional fats, which were animal fats, lard, cakes, and stuff like that. They weren't baked with shortening. So the seed oils became possible to extract the lipids from the seed oils as technological advancements in extraction methods. Just basically as technology advanced, it became possible to take a large amount of seeds. The issue with these plant fats that were marketed as more healthy than animal fats are very high in omega-6, and during the processing system, during the processing of these seeds into oils, deodorization, hexane as a solvent is added. So it's way too high in omega-6, and that throws off your essential fatty acid ratios, which can cause inflammation and increased oxidative stress from the byproducts that are created in making these seed oils. So that's the first deception. And then after it was the lipid hypothesis, or the diet heart hypothesis, that again was pushed by food scientists to push a further elimination of animal fats, cholesterol, demonization of animal fats into the hypothesis, the theory that this was the major cause of heart disease, even though we can look at research, early on research, such as Weston A. Price, who was a dentist that in the early 20th century had gone to about, I believe, 20 different isolated areas where modernity or modern ways of eating, processed flour, canned goods, etc. He went to visit these areas. There was none of them that were plant-based. All of them, some of them were almost solely animal foods, and others had an omnivorous diet and had no dental caries or high cancer rates, if cancer rates at all. None of the modern diseases. So this is where we are currently, and there's been a further push with the plant-based diet to further eliminate essential foods that are in our diet. idea that plants are healthy and animal food is bad for your health. So they're pretty much down to 15-20% of your diet is encouraged to be animal food. They're actually encouraging for us to pretty much go vegan completely. No society has ever been vegan and survived. Even India eat a large amount of ghee, which is an animal fat, as well as chicken. So, and even of those in India, I believe it's 40% to follow that. The rest are quite omnivorous. So the idea is to take away the essential animal foods and push us towards plant-based processed plant-based products. This is on the global scale with the UN and large organizations globally that are pushing for this new plant-based issue. Diet can be used to manipulate the public, changing various food ratios or food content can lead to various changes in large scale behavior. For example, there's research that indicates that a high seed oil, high omega-6 diet can lead to more aggressive populations, so it increases aggressivity. There's also the high sugar content that will pretty much keep us hungry. I won't go too much into detail, but in this video, I really wanted to push to be aware that they're using the useful idiots through propaganda, documentaries. Prior to that, the moving away of livestock being raised by ranchers down to biblical times with shepherding, the way they were slaughtered also. So they've developed in certain countries, and that's not even everywhere. There's still large areas, countries that basically do the traditional grazing with the ruminant animals on the pasture, on the grasslands, replenishing the soil with their manure and urine and stuff like that. So they pretty much broke that type of structure around traditional animal farming, like the Americans, I guess, are a good example. These big feedlot ways of raising food where their animals aren't in the natural habitat. Then the vegans, through propaganda, help push this agenda by saying, look how inhumane, how unhealthy it is, how it's bad for the environment, all of these things. Even with the current feedlot paradigm, believe me, it's not animal food that's causing global warming as one of the worst culprits. That's just straight out lies. So what else do you want to say? I go into more detail. I'm just driving into work. But keep your eyes open. Realize that the agenda is to push to a pretty much totally plant-based, processed food alternatives, fake mock meats, various fake animal products like just eggs instead of traditional eggs. This was planned a long time ago. There was an article in the Cosmopolitan in the early 20th century by Lord Birkenhead. I learned that from Primal Edge Health channels. I'll give him credit. And he, along with many other predictions, predicted that food would be grown in a lab. So this is what the elite are planning. This is what the 1% or the fact that now government has jumped on board to unite with, just give me a second, to unite. So government and big business basically are uniting, and the minute the government is in bed with corporations, basically fascism, and that means that the government no longer works for the people, but works for monetary gain. So I'll go into more detail on another video about within this age of deception on every level, guys, spiritual or religious, the way we communicate, the way the family structure it is built. All this has been engineered to push us to the current issue in society, which is a complete degeneration of morals and basically a generation of snowflakes and completely confused individuals that are more obsessed about their feelings and emotions and pushing their beliefs on other people than studying and basically concentrate on morals, which need an objective truth, by the way, which is only found with belief in God. You can't have any objective truth, basically, if you don't at least believe in a creator. That's for another story. See you guys.
Hi, I'm Steve Clemens, and I have a question. Can President Biden...
StreamYards. Sorry, Darla, you thought that I shaved. I did not shave. That was an old video, guys, that I was playing just to give some time for enough people to show up on the live stream. We're going to talk about Klaus Schwab, World Economic Forum. We'll start out the conversation with that. I still have, to be honest, a lot of research to do if I'm going to start talking on that. I kind of, have been picking up, pretty much here and there some stuff. Right away, I just knew that it was a plot against us, and I was like, yeah, I know what that's about. Great. But I think it's worth investigating more and more, and we can do more live streams and build on the information that we're getting. I think that it'd be cool to have some of you guys up also, and you guys can talk about what you think. Maybe there's a lot of stuff that I don't know about the World Economic Forum, globalism, all of these shenanigans. So we can share together. You guys can come, talk, and we can learn from each other. I did do a PowerPoint presentation just now quickly. Doesn't save. Slideshow. Play from beginning. I just jotted down, some basic ideas. So the World Economic Forum is an international organization for public-private cooperation. So right away, when you're seeing public and private collaboration, enterprises cooperation, this is bad news, in my opinion. Public is basically the government, okay? And private are either very rich and powerful people or very rich and powerful corporations. When politicians and rich corporations get together, they're going to birth something horrible. That's just, quite apparent. Their interests will be for the corporation. And we know that the government, there's always a danger that a government, through step-by-step processes, can end up becoming very authoritarian. So the forum engages the foremost political, business, cultural, and other leaders of society to shape global, regional, and industrial agendas. So this is quite, scary that you have a very, very powerful and rich people, as well as the presidents and prime ministers of all of these countries combining together, okay, wanting to shape globally, and not just globally, but like Klaus Schwab says, penetrate the cabinet. I have penetrated the cabinet. So, penetrating inside of parliaments and government institutions, where pretty much the politicians now are being loyal to the World Economic Forum and also industry agendas. So this WEF, it was established in 1971 as a nonprofit foundation and is headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland. It's independent, impartial, and not tied. Yeah, it's not tied to any special interests. Sure, we're buying that. Just give me a second. I'm just going to put up a different. There you go. If I go this way. Just gotta fix it. All right. All right, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so it's in Geneva, Switzerland. It doesn't have any special interests. The forum strives in all its effort to enslave us. To demonstrate entrepreneurship in enslaving us. No, sorry, my eyes. In the global public interest, while upholding the highest standards of governance. To them, highest standard of governance is authoritarianism, where they are the overlords. They know best. Natural selection, blind natural selection has chosen them, and they will lead the evolution globally as well as through transhumanism biologically. Moral and intellectual integrity is at the heart of everything it does. Our activities are shaped by a unique institutional culture founded on stakeholder theory. So go look up stakeholder, okay? Which asserts that an organization is accountable to all parts of society. That's BS. The institution carefully blends and balances the best of many kinds of organizations from both the public and the private sectors, international organizations, and academic institutions. We believe that progress happens by bringing together people from all walks of life who drive, and who have the drive and influence to make positive changes. Everything always sounds really good. You have minimalism. If you've heard of minimalism. So minimalism is basically the idea that we have too much stuff. And it's true to a certain extent, right? I mean, you have people that go the other extreme and they're basically hoarders. But we all do have a lot of stuff that we don't need. So it sounds really good when you look up minimalism to say that get rid of everything that is non-essential. And what these people do is they buy these tiny, they're basically trailers. They're these tiny, tiny little trailers that look like little miniature homes. And they're really proud to live in that. Storm can wipe it away. So basically, minimalism is another agenda that's being pushed, and most of the deceptions that we're going to experience, they sound good, right? The green agenda. All right, so let's just look at some of the comments. Hello, Lisa. Hey, JD. Hello, Ghost. You can come on in a little while if you want, Ghost. Anybody else is welcome too, unless I don't know you. Hey, Matt, what up? Go check out Peter Benton's channel. We all got to support each other. I'll go subscribe to your channel too, Peter. And of course, we got Garland Farms, the lovely Lisa, and Maria. Hi, Jason, and you all. Nice to be here. We'll probably fall asleep. Yeah, my voice tends to do that. That's my family. Start talking about the Bible. We're trying to read a passage. It's like Valium to the children, or at least to mine. It's a mild day today. You guys, I hope you guys saw the storm. I can put that video up. It's a short video if you haven't seen it. I'll do the short one. I have very dramatic music to add to the experience. Let's put it full screen for this one. Share screen. Yeah, this was Christmas Eve pretty much. It was really bad, the weather for a couple of days. It wasn't actually the amount of snow that fell, it was the wind that was making the conditions really difficult. Even when you looked out of the window and it was well plowed, especially where we live in the cornfields, the drifts can be enormous. When I was driving, I saw like 20 feet snow drifts that something had plowed through, because it was like a wall that I was able to get by. I finally got stuck in a snow drift, and had to call 911 because it was Christmas Eve. So obviously there was no tow trucks, or the little amount they weren't answering. So the fire trucks came. We weren't able to really get it out much. So we were able to kind of get unstuck, and then we drove backwards into a guy's driveway. And then after I drove, they drove me in the fire truck. So I had a fire truck drive all the way to my front door. The next day I had to call a towing, and the towing came and did it for free. So gotta love Canadians. It doesn't look too bad like that, just taking off. Still not too bad. We didn't hit the cornfields yet. Now we hit the cornfield. That's where I got stuck. But you can see like the difference, right? At the start, it's all blowing from the right to the left, horizontally. Then that's blinding, and then it starts coming directly at you. That's hypnotic. And yeah, the roads, I was getting away with it and slammed into this. That's the fire trucks. Yeah, so like the amount of snow wasn't even the issue, really. It was really the wind. The wind was just causing all sorts of havoc. Welcome from USA and Canada. Lisa says, "We will not eat the bugs." Oh no, believe me, there's tons of idiots that are going to be totally sold on that. They're going to think it's a great idea. Thanks, Darla, for sharing on your community. This is Maria Ekman's channel. Yeah, if you have definitely a question, depending, like if you guys really get chatty in the chat, it takes a lot of time for me. It's kind of like dead air time where I'm just like staring at the comments. So you can put like a double X there. Go look for it in your emojis. Oh, cool. Bruce is here. Nice. Bruce, are you coming on soon? I just want to do a few more slides on the PowerPoint. Maria's sleepy. I'm only very sleepy at 2:30 in the night. Yeah, me too. I'm a late. I stay up very late. But once I'm sleeping, I could definitely sleep like 12, 16 hours when I finally do. Because I chronically sleep like about 5 hours. If I'm lucky, it's 12 o'clock 1, but often it's 1:30. So I'm up at 6:30. So I chronically sleep 5 hours. And usually on my days off, I'll sleep in a good 12 hours. I used to sleep even more back in the day, but yeah, a good 12 hours. And I've taken my cortisol. You know how they say like, oh yeah, your cortisol will go up and it'll make you gain weight if you're tired and stuff. My cortisol is always normal. Just surprisingly, because there's so much crazy stuff happening in my life. Yeah, Bruce, go see Bruce Sees All. I believe he got banned for 2 weeks, man. That's friggin' rough. I tend to keep you awake. Oh. Is it my luscious beard? Is it my manly beard? Or my indoor toque? My new indoor sweater? JD asks what happened, Bruce. And Bruce answers, YouTube shut me down for eating an apple. Oh, that's hilarious. Inside joke if you haven't seen that live stream with Bruce and stuff like that. There's a back and forth with Bruce eating an apple. JD was making an example. Yeah, well, you eating this apple will cause, and meanwhile, my brother, I don't think, he's not a fruit guy. I don't think he eats much fruit. But he was really, really playing devil's advocate with JD. So that's a little back and forth JD and Bruce do with the apple. Yeah, poor Bruce. I told him that he could do live streams on Facebook. Meanwhile, he's blocked on YouTube. Yeah. Eating an apple and videotaping. Well, it's because apples have to be green now because of the green agenda. You put red there, you'll get banned. It's in the policy. If you look on YouTube, there's a policy, and unfortunately, it says that it has to be green. Yeah, I mean, what? Okay, well, you beat me, but you didn't do a video. So you have to do a video of it, Ghost. Trying to one-up me with your hurricanes. Hurricanes. We had a tornado in our backyard. That was impressive. Ripped out some trees like they were carrots in the ground. All right, Craig. So guys, I will post soon. Screw it. Let's just do it now. Invite people. So if you would like to come on the stream, I am going to copy and paste after I read this. Two weeks down with the fire. Yeah, that's rough. Bruce is suspended. All right, so if you click this, you're going to appear in my studio. I'm going to see that, and then I'm going to pop you up. I'm just going to do another few minutes on the presentation, and I'll see when I come back if there's anybody in the studio. Okay, we've done this. So it's an interconnected, so the world is an interconnected system straining under the burden of its own complexity. We see numerous factors combining to make the global environment more unpredictable and difficult to navigate. In a global governance, we see the post-war balance between nation states and the institutional framework that worked to manage it disintegrating. Yeah, you know why it's disintegrating? It's because you guys want to reset it. And in order to reset it, you have to destroy it first. It's kind of like Apollyon the destroyer. You know, it's like a Hindu god. You need the destroyer to level everything so that one of the other gods can rebirth it. So I think that they basically have the same mentality. They're going to say that they're disintegrating for sure. They're far from perfect, obviously, but disintegrating, that is what they're doing. I just want to go back and make sure that I press screen share, because often I don't screen share like I just did. Idiot. You know how many times I usually do this? About 3 times. You know what? Bruce is on. I won't keep him waiting. So I'm going to add you to the stream right now, Bruce. What up, Bruce? Say something.
Something.
Good. You eating an apple again?
Yeah.
Freaking vegan?
Yeah. I just finished my green beans, killed a few little bitch varmints in the back, and now I went to get some apples. two raccoons, a skunk, and a squirrel. But
there you go. So, what did you do this time to get kicked off?
I was
besides eating an apple.
I showed some drag queens, and no, I'm kidding. I got medical misinformation for talking about well, I'm not gonna talk about it here. 5G 5G, you know, just talking about the 5G. And
all right, give me 1 second. Okay, continue telling everybody why you got kicked out. Hello. Hey.
Because YouTube teams are a bunch of assholes, basically.
Yeah, she said.
I got nothing to say. I mean, I'll be down for 2 weeks because they're a bunch of shitheads.
Okay.
Nothing to say about that, man.
Okay, I'll call in 5 minutes. All right. Sorry about that, Bruce. My
no problem, man.
Son works at St. Hubert's, and he's finished, and he's wondering who's picking him up. I'm like, your mom's picking you up. Yeah. I hope it's not me. Yeah. So you got the medical information.
Misinformation. Yeah.
On
the podcast.
What do you think got you? Like,
I was talking about MK Ultra, the Canadian Holocaust too, about the CIA 30,000 documents that they got rid of when Helm was director, and like the Canadian Holocaust, they were lobotomizing kids and stuff. That's it. That was enough. That was enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have to dig deeper in the World Economic Forum. I want to go, I haven't really looked, just besides, like you hear here and there, and you'll own you'll own nothing, you won't have any privacy, and you'll be happy. And it's like picking, but I'm starting to want to go a little bit deeper. But
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
they're getting me mad. They're getting me mad. And there's going to be a revolution at one point because I don't think everyone's an idiot in the world. At one point, people are going
no,
to wake
no,
up to this
exactly.
happen.
But
I-
what scares me though is that if they're pushing it forward and they're doing it so blatantly in front of us, with the kind of technology, like forget about guns and bullets, just the DARPA, just the sound frequency that they can emit that causes like pain and
Yeah,
confusion, and all
they're
sorts of
doing
stuff.
that. They're doing that, and they're doing the light now. It's as stupid as ultraviolet light, and it beams out. It causes someone to have panic. A bit like, I don't know whether you're epileptic or not. It's happened to me myself. When you're looking at the screen at
Yeah,
one point, and for whatever the reason, you just go like, you have to pull away. It's happened to me a couple times. Maybe because too many transitioning colors. But now they're talking about the blue lights. They're going to put up blue spotlights that are
okay,
going to be able to monitor everyone and stuff. I mean, it's like
yeah.
it's ridiculous. It's like dystopian, like you said.
Well,
It's authoritarian regime there, basically.
when they were talking about, because there's a few things like you could press a global reset, you can put a fourth industrial revolution. That's going to pop up some more stuff, and then you can look at like technocracy and stuff like that. I forget where it was, but there was one guy talking. uh, I don't know if it was the World Economic Forum or not, but he was he
Yeah.
was like, he was talking about the 5G. He's like, there's no time for research. We're pushing it forward. This technological revolution will be forced on us.
Oh yeah.
It's not going to be an option. And I don't think that the technology itself is evil, but I look at the corruption, with everything. So I think that, the technology itself, and that's how they can market it, because they can say, look, it's going to help, these diseases, it's going to help this and that and everything. But obviously,
They're almost playing games and betting on us, like in theory. It's sort of scary thinking that they're sitting there and saying, okay, well, if we burn all the forests in California, why do you do that? Well, it's because then we're going to get all the housing there, and then we're going to, I mean, it's a bit fucked up. They're like playing a game, like a game of Risk,
yeah,
like a real game of Risk. Like the elites in all the countries are playing a game saying, I'll bet you we can do this,
yeah.
you know?
Why am I laughing at that? Yeah.
It's scary as shit. I think basically, I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what's going on. And man, my two eyes today swollen, just like allergy, just like I was in a room and I was allergic to flowers or something in the middle of winter.
Are you going to see an optometrist or something about that?
Well,
Ophthalmologist?
I saw her last week. We went for supper and stuff, but she's busy this Saturday.
Yeah, I was like,
I
wow,
said
you
I
guys
brought
are
her.
really,
I said
really
I went to
close.
see her. I went to see her and I brought her out to supper.
That's it.
Yeah, no,
Like
no,
from
no,
your eye.
no
Um,
plans. I'm just gonna go blind. Wait till I go blind, I guess.
well, the carnivore diet, when it was first started, it was started as an exclusion diet.
Yeah,
So what on the premise that possibly, whether it's just processed foods, so stuff in the middle of the section, or plants, even like people that go really heavy on plant based, the
yeah,
plants have defense mechanisms,
yeah.
and you can have like autoimmune reactions, but very small over time. And I think it was Jordan Peterson. You know him? You've maybe heard about him, Jordan
Vaguely,
Peterson.
yeah, a little bit. I know him
He's a
vaguely.
clinical psychologist, but
Yeah,
he's become pretty much world famous and stuff like that. And his daughter had some kind of autoimmune disease, and
yeah. He passed it off on whistleblower channels. A lot of whistleblower channels. They don't talk a lot about all of these doctors' researches, but he came up. There's certain
yeah.
stories that his name came up. So yeah, I've heard.
Well, his daughter, I don't know if it was ankle, hip, something. It was so bad that I think she was like a child and she needed a hip replacement. And she's the one, I don't know how she found this and stuff like that.
His
She ended,
highness.
Yeah, he's a good follower here too.
Yeah, he's a hell of a good guy.
Wanna hear
I don't forget he's in Ottawa. You'd be sure as hell, man. And listen, it could be in February because there's a big ass protest coming for Trudeau for February 25th. There's going to be people standing up asking him to resign again. The protest is coming back, and he was, he's been going through the courts in reality. Well, he's been questioned by Padiev, conservative leader, and you hear them continually battling left and right, and it's so maddening listening to that in House Commons and all that, because you hear, all right, he's got a good point, but what happens,
Mr.
really,
Speaker?
Yeah,
Mr. Speaker. Yeah, they challenge, and then there's no need to freaking
it's
respond.
Trudeau. When Trudeau sits down with his arrogant face, goes like this, ties his suit, and goes, puts his earpiece.
Yeah,
the face he makes, I tell you, man.
Yeah, I find it really stupid. I thought that the way it would work would be like if somebody challenges you with a question, you have to come up, you have to respond, and if you don't have the evidence or the paper, whatever, to back it up, then I would think that the speaker would document it, and then the next time they have to have a response, or they have to have the evidence that the opposition is asking for.
And I was expecting like they were gonna drag him out, like hang him in a tree. The son of a bitch. The guy is bad. He's destroying Canada. He went against everything he said that he was going to do for us. It's horrible. What he did is.
Go ahead. Yeah, he's a globalist. He's been on the World Economic Forum.
Yeah, he enforces the Emergency Act that was made in like 1917 that nobody ever enforced, and he was wrong, by the way, because the police said there wasn't even any motive for him to enforce it. Like there was no threat. It was a totally peaceful protest, and that's all it was. It was a totally peaceful protest.
I have the videos, like, because I did go. I actually went the week before it got violent with
I watched them. Yeah, I remember watching your videos.
For being violent. I can just play it quick, just for people if they haven't seen it, just for the ambience to kind of like see how it looked over there.
Yeah.
Just check the videos. And like when at work I got confronted, somebody was like, why are you for the convoy? And I explained everything, and they're like, yeah, but they're white supremacists. I'm like,
doesn't that scare you though? Like, doesn't that scare you? Like, you're over there, like somebody comes up to you, why are you for the convoy? And you go like, what the fuck?
What? Yeah, like, why wouldn't you be supporting them?
What do you mean? And they had people in Ottawa that lived in Ottawa, okay, like His Highness, but not like him. But I mean, the ones I'm talking about that were not like him came maybe from 15, 20 kilometers or miles away to go into town of Ottawa where they were protesting, and the trucks were off at night, okay, and not making any noise because they were not in any residence areas. They were in the center where there were only businesses, and the trucks that were parked in the residence areas were turned off at night.
I think it was by 8 o'clock. These guys tried to make it.
But some old ladies came into town. Some old ladies come into town with this old guy, goes this close to everyone protesting. It's a revolution in Canada. And this old lady goes up to the kids. You happy? Being a bunch of smart asses? I'm like, holy fucking shit. And they're mad.
I was like, she's from Boston.
So then the guy goes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. She didn't even sound like she was from Ottawa. So they ask her, where the hell are you from? And then she pointed, I live about 20 miles away. Well, the guy goes, well, go back home. You won't hear us, It's totally stupid. So
yeah, they had the mayor shut down all businesses, and the ones that didn't shut down were making a fortune. It was like a festival. So there was tons of people visiting, and they were getting harassed by the cops for staying open. I bet you these videos now are taken down there, but here, I'll just play this one here. Not the whole thing, but tell me if this is violent.
See why I keep coming home smiling? Like I'm at had a love party every weekend.
So much violence, though.
That's my hot wife, by the way.
I know. Look at all the violence. I stubbed my toe. It's violently painful because it froze.
So many these are freedom canned goods. The violent Ottawa protest.
That was the meth lab that we're talking about.
This protest has the people with the cleanest and whitest teeth I've ever seen.
Yeah, everything was free. Tons of like bouncy castles for the kids.
Yeah, but they were stolen. No. You know how the story, that's how bad the internet is, eh? Because that's how stupid the stories are. There was one Nazi flag there, and it was some guy that was talking about, is this what you want? Did you know that? The guy that brought the Nazi flag?
Yeah.
He brought
Say
it.
that again?
The guy brought a Nazi flag to protest against the Nazis, saying,
Yeah, I know.
Is this who you want to be your leader? And what they did
Exactly.
is ABC put it in the news and said, as you can see here, there were even Nazi flags that were being flown.
Yeah, there's one Nazi flag, and the other people knew that it would be used against them, so they kind of told him to take a hike. Yeah, that's my socks heating. Yeah, there was like everything was friggin' free. There was stations to heat up. It was the coldest. Oh, it was so cold that week. It's crazy how these people lasted.
Yeah,
day after day. Yeah, here's an example of a store. Watch. So you got to hear the music on this one. Yeah.
Watch the copyrights of his music.
No, yeah, I'm not big enough. I can do whatever I want.
See?
It's not long enough, though. Really violent, eh?
Well, that's a little scary, Jason, because in reality, people should have been saying, "Fucking hang him, hang that son of a bitch." Think of it. What they're doing. Yeah. Everyone's like, "Hi, hey, we brought our kids out to be with everyone today, and we're enjoying all the beautiful barbecues, and people are picking up the garbage." Jesus,
no,
I'm telling you, it's a fucked up system. We were actually brainwashed, dude. We're like children now. We're like retarded children. We we're just like, what do? We're protesting for peace, Canada flags. It's like it should be like friggin'. I'm not gonna say it because I'm not allowed, but you know what it should be. Fuck, it's enraging.
Like it's absolutely. Well, I mean, look at the states when they protest, and Trudeau actually supported, Black Lives Matter.
A guy got arrested for burning a Black Lives Matter flag. They arrested him in the States because he burnt down a bloody Black Lives Matter flag. Black Lives Matter is a Marxist. They raised $89 million. And Jason, it was made to pay off whores on websites, webcams, trannies, and all the sex workers. It was incredible.
Like OnlyFans. They started.
She hired her brother for $1.5 million to be a security guard. She bought the mansion, $14 million, 90 million gone up in the sky. And a Marxist is somebody that raises money for an idea and is allowed keeping the money. Apparently, it's not even illegal. So all the black people that families that look black or white, I think everyone gets abused by cops sometimes, but there's good cops. And there's bad cops. I think it's pretty clear that there's good and evil, right? In everything. There's good and evil in church. There's good and evil in schools. There's good and evil in any business. I mean, that's how it is. We're stuck with both sides, good and evil. And YouTube teams.
Well, they're creating racism now. I mean, you have Martin Luther King, right? That says, I have a dream that people will be judged by the content of their character, not by the color.
Forceful preacher.
But now,
get it? Do you get it?
Yeah.
Do you get it? I mean, I laugh when that other individual was talking to you, because that was a person that was following me for
Yeah,
a
I don't
while.
know.
The girl that flipped out there, Barb there. I mean,
Yeah,
not to talk about it, but I mean, I was disappointed in that. But that was not an opinion. It was an opinion to you, not on your opinion. Talking about the hate you and stuff there. That was harsh.
yeah,
So I blocked her. I said, no, screw that. It's sad, but
yeah. Well, you
I
didn't
think
have to support me, but yeah, it was. I was kind of
no,
like,
it
what
insulted
the
me. If
hell?
she turned around and said, "Yeah, I think he's a liar and I don't trust him or I don't agree with him," I wouldn't have even blocked her. But the
Yeah,
fact that she turns around and says, "I hate you," oh yeah, oh okay, well, what the hell are you
yeah, I
doing
know
here?
that it was super weird. I
Yeah,
forget
that
what
was too
that
much.
comment was.
That was a bit much.
Yeah,
So
you're always you're like a forceful preacher. I could the only place I could see that, it seems like it was the live stream where I let Dick on, um, and then after I wasn't really able to speak because he kept on interrupting. So I was
yeah,
getting heated. I was like, "Let me talk," like, and they kept cutting me off. So I
was that
was getting, I think I was getting a bit like pissed off
yeah, yeah, yeah.
with that. I didn't like he wasn't giving me a very much of a chance. Um, Also, these people that are criticizing my religion, they don't want to share theirs with me, because
Exactly.
anybody's faith can
Well, you
have
can
holes.
criticize a religion, but criticize it professionally. You could even be sarcastic if you want, but people, it's like they get off course. They start talking. Well, your religion. I hate you. I hate you. Hey, what the hell? It's
Yeah,
ridiculous. Give your opinion. Well, I totally disagree, and that's it. Well, okay. Well, we agree to disagree. And
yeah.
that's
Like
what.
I have great conversations with Muslims, and I just, I present Christianity because there's a lot of misconceptions, but I go in there knowing I'm not going to change their mind. Like,
No, no,
and
exactly.
they're really not changing my
No,
mind.
no, 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 no,
But,
no,
I
no.
kind of like explain certain things, and we both go in there
No,
respectful,
no, 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 no. I was gonna, anyways. I was gonna go.
because like uh, I tried asking Freedom, okay, well, what do you think? And I don't know, he spit out a big word. Have to admit, I don't know what the hell it was, and showed me a magnet. And it was like, okay,
Was it
that's your
Allahu
faith.
Akbar?
It's like, I don't know. He said something. So, but then he talks about a most high God, but he says that the God of the Old Testament is not God. So that's Gnosticism. That's basically, if you read the Nega
Is that what
Nagapani
they call
library.
Gnostic? Is that what they call Gnostic? No.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah, Gnostics. Yeah,
okay?
Gnostics just means gnosis, it means knowledge. So they believe that salvation is through knowledge. As long as you know the truth, you're safe. You're good. So and it's basically musings of men. So I kind of wanted to hear his side, and to scrutinize his side as much as he was scrutinizing mine. But it didn't work out that way.
Yeah, they're the hardest conversations. Hardest conversations. Sometimes somebody comes in the comment section. But I've made my closest friends that way though. Some people came that were completely opposite religions that left the comment, were surprised by my reaction and comment back, and it's like we don't clash or anything.
Yeah.
All religions can get along. Like I know it.
Yes.
It's just that the ones that don't, it's because they deliberately do it. But I've spoken to Muslims. I got a lot of friends, Muslims, and they said, like me, they agreed with me. We laughed, like honestly, when when you get a white and a black, but they're really friends, and they open up and talk about the real race. Well,
Mhm.
I talked with a Muslim about it, and they said it's bullshit. Like Muslims, the real deep Muslims and the Arabs and stuff cannot do the West cultures because they don't agree. Everything's the opposite. And I said, hey, it's funny. We can sit there and talk about that. You're not mad at me. I'm not mad at you.
Yeah.
You're not insulted. I'm not insulted. They
Yeah.
just agree that it wouldn't make any sense.
No,
So
exactly.
when there was the influx of all the immigration, well, I spoke up right away and I said, hey guys, has nothing to do with racism. They hate our culture. We
Mhm.
clash as much as people here hate theirs sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's not about hating. It's about not agreeing. We don't have to do what they do. They don't have to do what we do. We're free to do what we want to do.
Yeah.
Do. You know,
Yeah.
it's stupid. I think some of the fights are really silly and stupid. You know, and
Well,
you hear
it's just that you can share your opinion and you can calmly say that you disagree without basically telling the other person with a different belief that they're morons, basically implying that they're
exactly. And then opening up fake channels and responding to yourself, because that's a sickness online that I see a lot of the trolls do. Notice every troll that you get on your channel, you
Yeah.
watch, they'll say something to you like to insult you. They'll have 3 buddies that go, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all
Well,
fake
I mean,
channels. It's all
like
fake channels.
I'm not calling Freedom Grower a troll. He came on. It was up to me not to press the button. I'd have to be honest, look back at did I bring up religion first and stuff like that, because I really wanted to steer away from that topic with him, and I also wanted to look. I don't have all the answers to Christianity and stuff like that. I'm learning,
You don't
and
have to, but you can have
people want
any
to
opinion.
call me an
You,
online
you
preacher.
can have any fucking opinion you want on any religion you want. Even if a professional comes, you'll have people come here. I'm an archbishop. I've been a priest for 32 years, and you can't say this. Yeah, I got people that come to my channel that say they're scientists, neuroscientists, astronauts. My dad went to space. I know this. I mean, I get a lot of people that come to my channel that know a lot of stuff. I just, I give or take. I listen to everyone, man. I don't discredit anyone. I got people that come to see me that say they get abducted. I believe it. I've had spiritual encounters. So there's a whole fluctuation online of honest people, and it's always mixed. It's honesty, lies, honesty, lies.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of truth coming in from people, and there's a lot of lies. So when I show my research, people go to a lot of channels. I've been to a lot of bullshit UFO channels. Look at that. It's fake. That's a bird. So people don't want to look for 20 years for more bullshit. And often when they see my channel, they go, it's not worth looking at. But when they look at it, they go, then they say, well, that's too amazing. It must be fake. Like not everyone, but which is normal. A lot of people go through the amazement or the astonishment of the denial. I'm going to be flipping out for 2 effing weeks. This is the second time they did it. I just got back 1 strike, back. And then they gave me another strike for something that I posted in May 2021, talking about elections. And then now it's medical misinformation. And I got a strike for journalism strike, man.
Journalism.
For misinfo and news.
Really? Jeez.
Yeah.
They're really after you, yeah. Hey, wait, I just want to say this because this is weird. Garland Farms, JD says, they hit me with the sound cannon at home sometimes, almost make you lose your... Why the hell are they shooting you with DARPA stuff? That's weird. JD, you got to come on and tell us about this. He's on vacation. He said he's watching this in the pool.
Yeah, awesome, man. And I'm not going to be on for long, man. I'm telling you, my eye is really bad, but I'm happy to come on. I got a day ahead of time. I'm always ready. Me, I get up at 5. I got up at 5 this morning. I'm probably about to go to bed. Fuck.
Here, I'm just gonna.
I'm so pissed, man, at what happened today. I'm drained. When I saw the box come up there, when I saw the box come up and I appealed it, it took a lot of energy out of me. Like it literally freaking drained me, because I have a stream tomorrow, 2 streams, and I have what happens is the channel goes dead. The channel goes down completely dead. It's not supposed to, but when I'm blocked like that, all the views stop. So I was a bit worried. But I have an amazing community, and there's already support, and people even today give a couple of contributions. So
no, that's good.
Yeah, high frequency ring in your ears. Okay, China, hypersonic bullets. Okay, Mach 6. They tested it on a sedated pig a couple days ago. It causes massive crater-sized wounds. Like it goes in like this and it goes out like that, right? So it takes everything out. And it said it also affected organs because of this the not sound waves, but Well, the frequency waves, the sound waves, I guess, yeah, the sound waves. Woof, when it goes out, okay, and it damages the spleen, the stomach, brain bleeding, broken bones, and there was all these things that it did to the pig that they wanted
Okay.
to test, and that's China testing hypersonic bullets. They go so fast, they catch on fire, and they look like miniature suns.
Jeez.
I mean, that's scary shit. And they're talking about that and plasma artillery. It's something like this is new because don't forget now they have the sun, the plasma
Yeah.
that they put up a few times. So now they're going to be using plasma. DARPA, FBI, CIA, maybe not CIA. They're doing tests in space, the Pentagon in general, with a plasma propulsion system. They're trying to test that. An Artemis 1 program that just left, the rocket that went to the sun and back around the moon and back.
Yeah.
It did a test with a plasma run vehicle and a water run vehicle. They're testing propulsion. Sorry, plasma propulsion. So plasma is also they're using it for weapons and guns. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sound like Garland says they're using frequency as I've always said it since 2016. The frequencies connected to the 5G, possibly in theory, just to scare us a little bit, but it makes you wonder,
Oh no, for sure. Jeez.
Oh, that sucks if he's harassed by the military. That's totally uncool.
Like
because
that's
you see, the problem is that some of these farms and people, like even here, Jason, there's a lot of military crap around us, right? There's a lot of bases around here. Some of these people are too close to certain areas, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do experience some frequencies. Now it's getting freaking bad.
Yeah.
At the protest January 6th, that's what they did. They put up some things in the posts, and they had earmuffs on them, like again sound, and they were blowing that out so that like to back up people,
Yeah. Just reading, so just checking through some of the comments. Oh yeah, that's what I forgot. I brought the carnivore diet up because people use it as a exclusion diet.
Yeah.
So I call a carnivore diet whatever is animal, eat it. That's pretty much it. And but some people doing the exclusion, they'll stick to beef only, and then they wait to see if their symptoms resolve. Like for you, if you go see an ophthalmologist, they'll give you some eye ointment. They're not going to get to the
that's
root
what they
cause.
did. That's what they did. Yeah, they just gave me some drops.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
you should try like a month carnivore challenge and stuff. See if your eye improves.
Well, I basically have this month because that's basically all I'm buying is meat, and meat on top of it. I like drying my meat, making beef jerky, everything like the fat and everything taking out of it. My meat has to be like a stone,
Yeah,
I don't like bloody meat or rare meat. It has to be very well done for me.
Yeah,
I take everything out of it. Well, it's because it's like I wouldn't get fat, but for some reason, there's an energy that comes from somewhere. That or I was a camel in my other life, and it's like man, the less I eat, the more I gain. I know that's hard to understand there, and it's not a joke there.
Yeah. Well, maybe your metabolism's slow or something, but
I'm backwards. Everything's backwards with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems very odd.
Well, there's always the carnivore challenge. I am up to 198. And
that's good.
No, it's not good. No, I'm usually 175, 180. So I did the carnivore. I ate freaking pepper steaks for a month.
180. I was 180 when I was 19.
13 pounds I lost in a month. So now today's my first day back on it. I was doing it, and then after the Christmas arrived, and I'm off track, and now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna log my weight. I want to try and lose 15 pounds in a month. I did 13. I want to get 15, so I might add like some fasting, like some prolonged fast. It's easy.
You do some
Okay.
meth there. You're sure.
Yeah, that's good too. Just everything in
Just
moderation.
a bit of crystals. Bang, bang,
Just
bang,
a
bang, bang.
pinch
On
of
the table.
meth. All right, Robert's in the house.
The guy after 7 days, he's down. I'm down 58 pounds.
Yeah,
I'm getting my new teeth next week. Well,
no, that's it. But seriously though, she
yeah,
all
man,
of
everywhere,
her
man.
disease went into remission, literally.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
she
yeah.
was literally getting hip surgeries, and
Like
that's
Matt
it.
says, that everywhere there's past civilizations, cities, towns, ports, etc. Like look at where they used to make nitroglycerin, not far away from where our grandmother used to live.
Yeah, what was it called? Expro?
But don't say it. I wasn't gonna say it, but anyways, not anymore. But it's actually synergistics. They build freaking bombs there, and they actually
Yeah.
build 50 millimeter bombs.
Do you remember the
Like
fire? Remember when we were kids? The
the what?
fire at that place. Do you remember
Yeah,
that? There was a
yeah, yeah.
fire.
Oh yeah. And some explosions too with the orange friggin' cloud there. I
Yeah,
mean, it's totally toxic, but it's registered as an American base. There's also synergistics in the States that are actually making bombs for Ukraine. So I wonder what synergistics here are making 50 millimeter rounds. That's going in tanks. Okay,
yeah,
these things, big ass 50 millimeter rounds going into the tanks in the States. Because I remember the Iraq War, seeing some brand new cars leaving there, military vehicles like tanks that were being built there, which is absolutely impossible, everyone was saying. But you
yeah.
see, that's how they hide stuff. They have certain companies that are founded to do certain things. They even have employees on one side, but they're doing other stuff, telling you it's all military related. Everything's hidden, but it's not so hidden anymore. And with the corruption, there's either the military or in the States, the CIA, the FBI, they have
Yeah.
too much control now over. They infiltrated the government now. They're in the Congress. They're in the big pharma now. This is scary
Yep.
shit. They're gonna have
Yeah,
to do
well,
something.
we went through the economic forum partners.
Ah,
They may as well
Canada,
have listed
Canada, U.S.,
who's not
Poland,
in it.
U.K., France. They're
Oh,
all in it.
banks, agriculture,
Yeah, I looked at
Google.
CERN. CERN, there's participant, there's friends, there's part-time friends. Canada is there, US is there, every friggin' country, and they're giving our tax-paying dollars to CERN to do research up in the ionosphere and secret projects, smashing atoms all day long without telling us,
Yeah,
That's crazy stuff.
yeah, and like I think it's like a portal, to be honest.
Yeah. And maybe
Like,
that's what's keeping the portal open by always beaming that. It's sending out energy. And the thing is that the energy they're sending out is invisible. We can't see it with the naked eye. If we were to see what's going on, you never know. We could see about 75,000 beams going outwards into the sky that nobody sees because it's another wavelength. There's a whole bunch of stuff now that they're talking about NASA with other wavelengths that they're going to start showing soon, Oh, 9/11.
yeah,
It's
no,
it's 9/11 right now.
yep.
Hey, Jason, I even have a sore neck just from the box appearing on my screen. It scares the shit out of me every time it happens. You never know what they're going to tell you. Blink.
I know.
You
What
received
did
the second strike.
I got a pre-strike. They warned me. I have no idea. I did another stream and pretty much said what I said.
That's what they do. They spank you at the beginning and then they waterboard you. Like they start with a spanking and then they waterboard the hell out
I'm
of you.
too small to get to have them start to do that to me. I'm like, geez.
That's what I thought, but I mean, you had problems with. You got a warning with one, which I was surprised.
Yeah, these computer algorithms. It's crazy how they can go through.
Do you see artificial intelligence, bro? This is so fucked up, man. Now it's taking jobs from painters and artists online to create.
Oh, it's going to take the jobs from everything,
dude. They invent. They're solving problems, equations, mathematical equations, and shit. I'm blown away by what they're doing right now. Some of the artificial intelligence programs.
Well, they shut down one of the artificial intelligence. I don't know if it was Facebook or Google, where the
Yeah, it wanted to
AI
kill.
started making its own language.
Yeah, and they said they were going to kill. When Elon Musk and another person talked to one of the programs, the program says that they were going to kill the human race, take over, and then they didn't stop. Like, kill the human race, take over, kill the human race. Hey,
Yeah.
turn
Yeah.
that bitch off. Turn that off, man. Blink. So Elon Musk says that it has to be has to be a mechanism on those robots, like, so that they could never be controlled. And you know what that scared me. You know why that
Yeah.
scared me? Because that's what they're doing with us.
Yeah.
They're bringing us into the digital age to control us and to computerize us and stuff. And here we're laughing like, hey, we gotta control those robots. Well, they're gonna do the same bloody thing with us. That's exactly what they're gonna do.
It's here. This is do you see the screen? It says Facebook's experiment isn't the only time that artificial intelligence has invented new forms of language. Earlier in 2017, Google revealed that the AI it uses for its translate tool had created its own language, which it would translate things into and then out of. But the company was happy with that development and allowed it to continue.
Jesus Christ.
They're like, this is great. We have no idea what they're saying anymore.
You see the money they invested? People are dying in you. Well, who cares about Ukraine? I'm talking about US and Canada. People in the streets dying, and they're doing tests on why the male parrot, why the female parrot is attracted to the male parrot. Billions of dollars from taxpayers' money that went into the research. It's like, what the hell? They're doing what the hell they want.
And so science has just found that snakes have clitorises.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Jesus, we live on a stupid planet, man. I'm telling you, we live on a stupid planet. But first, we have to do what we have to do the important things first. We got to get as many trannies as we can in the school, which honestly makes sense.
Yeah.
So I like pretending I'm a leftist for like 7 seconds just to see what it's like to be in a clown's mind. It's so scary, man.
The problem is that in Canada, there's I think it's C11 is passing that's going to further start censoring content in Canada. It's kind of like what they're doing in North Korea, what they do in
for broadcasters like you and I, like creators on YouTube.
Stopping the government. If the government doesn't like it, it's going to be banned, and they decide what they like or not.
But haven't you noticed something that's missing on YouTube? Like all the old channels that used to listen to and stuff. Like, look at it. They used to offer me Hulk Hogan, WWF racing, drag racing, hockey. None of this appears anymore. When you go on YouTube, you're presented something like some guy named Min Tam in China that's eating a bowl of noodles and stuff. It's creepy, man, my YouTube. There's nothing I've ever looked at before that's being offered to me. There's these creepy Chinese videos and ads. That's all I get now. Minchonyo, Minchonyo. I don't know what they're saying, bro. And they're offering me Chinese ads. I'm getting sick of it. I'm telling you, everything's Chinese. Always Chinese. Crazy. Yeah. Guy at the corner store is Chinese.
Yeah.
They're
see, like in Canada, I can't even, like, if you're self-employed, you can have an opinion. But if you have a job where, you have an employer, I can't share my opinions on ideology.
No.
I can get fired. It's considered hate speech.
See, this is why it's a good thing I'm not working, because my reflex would be, which is stupid, I agree, would be to immediately go home and to write a post, and I would do this.
Mm-hmm.
My boss better not be effing looking at my private Facebook page. F off. And then I'd go in the next day. Hey, Mr. Gorley. I'd walk in just to see his reaction to see if he says you're fired. That would piss me off so much, man. The invasion of Facebook. They did it to me even at Toyotas. Even at Toyotas.
People have lost their jobs because of Facebook.
Yeah, way back.
Let's see.
Yes, Lisa B. It's 14 days in the dark, Lisa B.
Oh yeah, we're in the States.
No, me, like I'm going to be in the dark. Like I won't be able to
Oh.
stream or upload for 14 days.
Are you going to be doing? Are your other channels monetized?
Just the French one.
So you'll have to. You couldn't do
I
the.
don't know, man. This is my second time doing a live stream for Bruce Sees All, and 11 people came by. Well, Lisa B, all the
French
same
one?
people. But
Yeah. On
nobody
the
comes
French
by.
channel, that happens.
Yeah, no. When I'm on Bruce Sees All, say, hey guys, I'm down. My channel went down. I'm still doing a live stream. I send people over to the French channel. Nobody
Yeah.
comes. Nobody comes. There's no community. We got like 20 people following my channel. Everyone's a ghost there, you know.
Oh yeah.
Boo.
Here, post this again. Robert Ghost, if you want to come on, here's the link. Don't be shy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a video on snake clitoris.
Yeah, well, that go good with my video about elephant penises and whale penises because I've been no.
What's up, Robert?
Hey,
Nice to finally meet you, man.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Hey, Bruce.
How's it going, Robert? Nice to see you, man.
Where do you live in the States?
California.
Oh
All
yes.
right. No
So you guys
blizzards,
got
no
some
cold.
snow. They got some snow down there, Jason. Eh? They got, I don't not everywhere. I know it wasn't everywhere in California, but some was it Lake Tahoe or something? Got
I'm
snow.
hearing the audio.
Pardon me.
Hey,
Oh, I
What's-
see the delay. Why am I hearing such a delay?
He's getting a delay. Okay.
I'm not sure. You have the actual
Robert.
No echo.
Robert, be sure your YouTube link. There's two. Close the YouTube X
Hang on, I'm
on
going to
top.
switch to headphones.
Close the
See if this works.
yeah. You could close the YouTube channel and keep only the StreamYard link open. You won't hear a delay. Like on top, yeah, on top.
What's that again, Bruce?
Yeah, on top, keep the StreamYard link open. The URL. You should see two boxes. One with an X and another one with an X. Close the one that says YouTube because now you're live on StreamYard and you won't get a feedback.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's better.
Roger. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
All right,
that was
perfect.
it.
So how's it going, sir?
I'm hanging in there. I've had some major hip problems, but I got an injection recently and it's helped a little.
Like
Really?
a steroid, like prednisone injection.
You know, yeah, steroid thing. I know it's bad and good at the same time, but I was in such pain I had to do something.
You guys get some snow down there, Robert?
I didn't, but
Lake
some-
Tahoe? Was it Lake Tahoe?
yeah, which is like, you know, like 3 hours away. But
Wow, and they got quite a bit. Like I heard it was 13 centimeters an hour that was falling or something.
yeah, we need it bad too.
Wow, yeah, that's the worst of it. That's the worst of
Yeah.
it. Here they say, Jason and Rob, I don't know if you heard, Jason, they're talking about apparently winter's over here. As of the 1st, there'll be no
Really?
snow for 2023 at all until December 2023.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Where'd you read this?
Mezzo Mezzio. Tomorrow it's going to be 10
Really?
degrees too. 10 degrees tomorrow. We got like 12, 13 days. It's going to be all 0 degrees minimum, minus
Noah's-
0 degrees.
Noah's gonna cry. He bought himself a skidoo. He's just waiting to use it.
Who did?
No. Noah. He
Oh.
builds like motors now and stuff. I don't know. He has this friend that's teaching him all sorts of stuff. His friend, like his dad, he's 16, his friend, but his dad's like 90 or something. Had him really late or something.
Yeah,
And
he's like a little Tesla. He's got to build
Yeah.
a spaceship.
yeah, but I guess his father taught him like everything. So yeah, Noah started with that bike in the summer there, where he put a motor on his bicycle.
Yeah,
Yes,
that was
sir.
awesome.
Yeah,
That was
then
awesome.
he smashed into a woman, her car.
Yeah. As long as he knows to be controlled, because a skidoo is more dangerous than a Harley.
Yeah, it cost me
Because of the
money
trees.
to fix her car down there.
It's deadly though. Like you know, chains and everything. That really moves. You got to be very calm when you're driving it and vigilant with the trees and everything.
Yeah, no. He smacked into the side of the car or something, and then after the lady wanted to call the cops, so I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna look like a horrible parent. So the cops come, they look at the motor, and they're like, the guy goes, Man, I wish I had that when I was his age, you know? So he kind of looked and he goes, there's no pedals. He goes, there's no pedals. He goes, technically you need pedals or else it's considered, illegal for you to drive it, So he went and welded like pedals on. Like they don't even move. They're just like, you told me to put pedals. I put
It'll be
pedals
worse. It'll be worse.
on. Yeah. But no, he bought a 3-wheeler. He has a Skidoo. He has a motorcycle. I don't know. He's buying all these used things and stuff like that, and then he cries because he can't fix it. Then the next day it's working and stuff. I'm like, hey,
Yeah, well,
I told
imagine.
him, dude, most of your friends are like buying weed all summer. I said, you're not wasting money. You're learning as you go, and you're making.
Imagine what he's going to be able to build once everything's broken. He'll be able to build like this big RoboCop suit, this big RoboCop suit.
And he's doing a stage. He's doing a stage at a garage right now.
Oh wow!
So, I told him, look, get all of the skills, carpentry, electric, plumbing, get all of that. I said because he's mechanical, he's just naturally able to build stuff, and it's just like an engineer's mind or something. So I said, yeah, get all those skills. I said, you buy houses, flip them, renovate strategically, sell them, if the market is good, and just go. So, Robert, what are your thoughts on Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum?
I'm pretty out of it.
Yeah,
I'm not into it.
no,
I'm not that smart.
well, like I said at the start, I have a lot to read up on. I kind of just hearing, basically some of the videos, being lazy about it too. But do you think they're up to no good, or you think?
Well, I think the whole in the deeper long run there, because I don't know what you think about all the things. So I'm just going to talk about things. If you disagree with me, I'm okay with that. Or if you have a different,
we're here to share. We're here to share. Believe me.
I've been led by, I believe, God for a long time. He exposed to me when I was younger the reality behind what we now know as the implant program and how it ties to the mark of the beast and that whole story in Revelation.
Yep.
One of the first things that happened was when I was a teenager, I used to like to go hiking up behind Indian Valley College in Marin County because it was really nice trees and up in the hills, And this one day I was hiking with this, he was actually a guy who was taking over the band I was in, and I was really at odds with him. So I thought this would be a good thing. We'll go hiking. Maybe we'll chum up a little bit, and maybe I'll like him a little bit better. I just didn't trust this guy at all. Yeah. So we're hiking up, and we all get almost to the top of this hill. Trees all around. There's a nice trail, and I hear this weird noise. And so I stop and I look, and then up in the distance, there's this black mass kind of moving, and every time it moves, I hear this. So I go, what is that? And my friend's going, no, don't go up there. And I can't. I was drawn up there. Yeah, so I go up there. It's this little black poodle dog, and he's staying in one place, but rearing up on his hind like this, and like a elephant does in the circus, when they're around, going around and around and around like this. But each time he goes up, and every time he goes up, he goes. So I get closer, and I see the dog senses me, and I see somebody has poked its eyes out, and obviously they blinded it and they left it up there. So I melt, and I just swoop down. I grab it, I swoop it into my arms, and I can feel it's going, oh God, thank you, And my friend's having a major meltdown going, no, but put the thing down. And by the time he says two things, I'm already running through the bush, straight down the hill like a deer, through the trees. Yeah. I'm jumping, going, I come out right where our car was parked. And I get in, and I'm waiting for him. Come on, Tim, let's go. Because the Humane Society was right across the highway from us. Okay. So he finally gets in the car. We go over there. We get to the Humane Society. We pull to the emergency room side, and he gets out. He rings the bell thing, and they come out. But instead of like being happy that we found this dog, they seem bummed out. Like, in fact, the one lady comes, she's kind of angry. She's like, She reaches in, grabs the dog, and I don't remember the real dog's name, but she says, it's Fluffy. And she goes back inside. I go, Tim, find out what's going on. So he goes in for a while. He comes back out. He said they left. And I going, what the hell was that all about? So years later, I read this conspiracy book by this guy named Bill Cooper, right? Called forget what the title of the book is, but it's got every conspiracy theory you've heard of all in one book. But in the back is the story, a reproduction of a newspaper article from Marin about these two teenage boys that find this poor lost dog, and they brought it back. It was me and my friend, but the story they tell in this article is nothing like what really happened. And it turns out that this dog was the very first test of the PET-U-Scan program. The very first one. PET-U-Scan,
what is it?
Where they put the chip in the neck of the animals instead of dog tags.
Okay, yeah.
In other words, they blinded this dog and left it up there just so they could test their frigging PET-U-Scan program.
Huh.
That's
not surprised.
No, but it started a seed. It planted a seed in me, and I kept looking into it, and when I was a letter carrier for the post office for 37 years, and on one of my routes, there was a guy from the NSA and the CIA, two different guys, and I was friendly with them, and they both allowed me to read certain things they got in the mail that were interesting on my lunch break. They gave me permission to thumb through their, because without permission, I wouldn't do anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Well, one of the magazines the CIA guy got was called Auto ID News, which was, automatic identification, but it was called Auto ID. Yeah. The whole magazine, all it was information about the barcode. And there was this one article in there. It was an angry article. This one agent wrote, officer, whatever he was, how I think the title of the article was the barcode system. What's the holdup? What's the holdup for compliance? And I'm thinking, compliance? What the heck? So in other words, I found out through research that the whole barcode thing that we're so used to now was foisted on us by the intelligence community. And they actually, as far as I could see by reading it, they were, I'll use the word threats, but it could have been just, mild threats of whatever, but they pushed and forced businesses to take on the barcode. People were resisting. Yeah. And because they saw the writing on the wall. So there were no choices. We're all taking this stuff for granted. My whole point in this is seeing how weird it was, how I was there kind of at the beginning for some reason and saw these things as they started. So I've just been looking at it ever since. And now today, of course, I'm just totally convinced that the coming implant thing is definitely a part of that story and revelations of the mark of the beast. Because once everybody's implanted, you can't participate in the marketplace unless you have the implant. That's just, and that's the only thing in history. If that happens, it'll be the only time in history that it actually perfectly fulfills that prophecy. Because
I believe it's even fulfilled before with the V, because what I found, the squares and what's in it. I mean, careful what I'm saying there.
Yeah, be careful.
Digital circuit boards, digital. It's actually what it's actually doing. It's a regeneration circuit board. It's like literally going around like a little robot inside of everyone. So that for me, it's
I don't know about that. I do know that some of these would have in the packaging have one, but it's for tracking of shipments, which is what they usually use it for anyway.
Right.
I haven't heard any confirmation that there's actually something, because as far as I know, and I'm honestly not trying to argue with them, I'm just relaying what I know.
Oh yeah, Canadian doctors confirm that. That's really? I can't say it. There's
as far as I know, they're not small enough yet.
Pardon me?
As far as I know, they're not small enough to do that yet.
Oh yeah, they're nanoparticulates. They're like hair fibers.
I just saw like
they're like hair fibers.
The size of them.
Yeah,
they're like. Specs.
There's lights on them. There's lights on them. They're auto circuit. It's a whole long name that I won't mention, but it's what it's doing, and it's causing a whole bunch of stuff. to
Here,
happen.
I'll share.
Right, but it's still it's not. If you refuse the vaccine, you still can't, or the V. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You still can't. They can't keep you from fully participating yet in, and yet that's what the final straw will be. That if
Yeah,
whatever it
that's
is,
the digital currency. That's the whole ideal. It's that
Mhm.
you'll go to Targets, you'll go to Walmart, and you're going to say, "Oh, we're not forcing you, but you can't come here if you don't have a chip, or if you don't have this and have
Well,
that."
that's what's coming for
Yep.
sure.
It's going to be the new digital currency, and that's how it's going to work. So they're going to be like, okay, we're not forcing you again, but you can go
Yeah,
to work
I
if
don't,
you want.
and
You ain't going to
who
get
knows
paid
what's going to happen? Now, who
because
knows
the
what's going to
money's in
happen?
the chip, and you
Yeah.
can't buy anything because the money's in the chip. What's interesting is, let me screen share Revelation.
Hey,
Since,
Jason and Robert, I'm going to have to get off, bro, because I got some stuff to do, man, tonight.
okay.
And Robert, a pleasure, sir, to finally get a chance to say hello.
Yeah, good to see you.
Hey, man, be safe, and
Yeah.
I hope you have lots of good weather in California. I hope everything's going good in California. Well,
And
definitely
same
on
to
my
you.
bucket list. When everything lays low, I hope to get a chance to head over to the States. When I was supposed to a couple of years ago, Robert, but with the pandemic and everything, we're all in lockdowns and stuff.
Which, if you ever do, maybe we can run into each other.
Absolutely, brother.
We can
Jason,
jam.
yeah, man. Jason, I love you, man. And
Love you.
Matt, take care. I am Kai, and everyone. I'm sorry, I'm so not motivated tonight, but I'll be around from here to New Year's. I'll try to make a stream, French channel unlisted, and I'll post it in the community. So for the few of you who are here, you can check that out. All right, love you guys. Thanks a lot,
All right.
Jason.
See you, bud.
Talk to you soon, man. Next time.
All right. See you.
Roger,
See you
Roger.
next.
All right. So check this out. I'll put up the Mark of the Beast passage that you were speaking about. You see it okay?
Yep. Hope everybody
All
else
right.
can.
And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by the sword and did live. What I find here is in 15 it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. That's weird, right? So he's giving life to this image of the beast, that the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So this could be kind of like AI technology, where it's given life to this all connected network. I just thought it's weird here. Eh?
The TV is an image of the beast. It fills that. Anything that has relation to video and the television kind of fulfills that. It's the image of the beast, because he's all about image. Image is everything to him.
Yeah, and he's going to try. Satan's going to try and create his own world, right? So God is omnipresent. Well, the global surveillance system, once it's all connected globally, that's in a way his version of being omnipresent, all-knowing. Well, all of this data, when it says God knows you more than you know yourself, that's what Yuval Noah Harari from the World Economic Forum basically said. He goes, when you're using this technology, it's going to be analyzing you, and it will show you what you want before you even know that you want it, kind of thing. So there's that, all-knowing, omnipresent, and obviously omnipotent will be this authoritarian, like who can compete with the beast, but I always check. There's this once a year I go, Roystein Bethel. It's a guy who does I think it's like a 36-part video on Revelation. I always kind of need to go back and kind of refresh on prophecy and stuff like that, because I start kind of forgetting and stuff like that. Let me just check if I can pop this guy up here.
It's one of the good sides of the internet, is we have access to information.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I was saying. All of this technology in and of itself is not corrupt, but man is corrupt. And that's in our hearts we have corrupt hearts, and we have a fallen nature, and there's no way that we're ever going to create a utopia. That is a huge deception.
And see, and
Did I
that's
share?
why I believe. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say that's why I'm so big on why I believe that's one big reason why Jesus did things the way he did, because we humans cannot abide by the law and have the law fulfill anything for us in the end. Even
Yeah,
though we need the law, I mean, obviously for civilization, you need rules and laws. But as
yeah,
one of the major teachings I get out of it is, and the things he said to the Sadducees and the Pharisees, law upon law upon law upon law. And after a while, how are you going to know if you're breaking the law? And that's where we're heading already. You can only have so many laws until you
yeah.
realize if we base everything on the law, we all fail. There's no way we're going to make it if we go
Well,
by the
it's it's
law.
it's because it's government overreach, and authoritarianism, and people keep on spitting out commie, Nazi, but if you really look up what fascism is, and it's like we are really entering that, and to be honest, that's how most of human history was dealt with. Humans were, the populace was always suppressed. There was always an elite group. I mean, this is new, like what we live in, and we can lose that within one or two generations quite rapidly. And you can
Mhm.
tell that they really don't care about us. They care about indoctrinating the next generation, and you can see that really strong in the schools with all sorts of crazy ideologies. Here, this is a Roystein Bethel. Look at it. It's 36 part. Yeah, 37. Yeah, 36 part. If you guys are interested in Revelation, having a really in-depth, step-by-step walkthrough, it's really good. He goes through, like, a lot of people don't realize, like, all of the symbolism that's in Revelation. Either it's explained what it is, or it's all in the Old Testament. I think there's like 300 allusions to the Old Testament in Revelation. That's something I remembered from him. So that's pretty cool. Just gonna put down some of these things here. Royston Bethel. I have like a million things popped up here. This is another. Did you ever notice the United European Union is built like the Tower of Babel? Did you ever notice? You haven't?
No, because I never saw the Tower of Babel.
Well, it's there's artistic pictures. I'll show you
Right.
over here. What people often put it as. This is a pretty famous picture here.
Oh, I
This
see.
one, and
Right.
they purposefully made it like the Tower of Babel, the United Nations,
Yeah,
and
that makes sense.
I know. Have you ever seen the snake building in the Vatican?
Yeah, I've seen. Well, I saw some of the things you did on one of your shows. It
Yeah,
showed some of them.
that's some weird stuff. And I know that there is Arch of Baal.
Nero.
Yeah. Whoops. I don't know if it'll show up. Yeah, in New York. So this is pagan worship here, and I believe it's Baal and Baal, whatever. I call him Baal. He's all over the Old Testament. He's that calf that they were sacrificing their children to. So for some reason in New York, they just put that up.
They also used the name Bel, capital Bel, and it was
Yeah.
really the same being.
Here's another one. This is
That's
in
CERN.
front. Yeah, outside of CERN, and it's Shiva,
Yeah.
the destroyer. And if you look at that's a weird thing. And have you ever seen the opening ceremony?
I remember seeing something on YouTube. I didn't click on it, but I remember it was the picture I saw was a bunch of virgins in white or something in a big circle.
Yeah, I mean it's a long procession. I'm just gonna turn
Very
on.
Nazi-like.
Yeah, exactly. My wife turned the light off, and then don't think she knew that I was needed.
Wait, we got the Christmas tree.
Yeah, I know, but it's still too dark.
I mean the Nimrod tree.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a fan of Christmas, but the thing is I can't say, you know what, I'm Christian now and this is pagan, so no more Christmas. I was like, look, I know it has nothing to do with Christianity, and it's pagan, and Easter's pagan, and all
But
the
again,
stuff.
again, that's why I think it's just the same as that question of the law.
Yeah,
If we hold each other to a strict thing, that even if it seems right, if you really think about it, in the end, how can it be right? Because if you try to apply it to yourself, it's fail. And if we keep doing that, there's not one of us that could make it. None of us are good enough by our merits to make it. And all these little details, I bring up because I studied for a while with the witnesses, right? I try to be open to everybody. I invited them in, but after a while, we had too many arguments, and that kind of dissolved.
Yeah.
They used to give me trouble, and I used to say the same thing. I know I am not perfect. Yeah. But if I start trying to align myself to all these little details that you think are right and wrong, that's just the same thing as the same thing Jesus railed against about how the Sadducees and the Pharisees held everybody to all these laws, but they themselves, they don't have to follow the law. It's really just the same pattern. Eventually, you just got to realize it's what's in your heart. Your heart is what matters to God.
Yeah, because there's always the debate about works or faith, and back and forth and stuff like that. And it was like, we're not saved by our good works, but if you have the Holy Spirit, a natural symptom of that will be good fruit.
Exactly. So I was arguing with a friend of mine who's a Gnostic about this, and my point was just like that. The real point of a relationship with Jesus is the fact that once you come to a certain degree of knowledge and you have faith because of your knowledge, you realize that you want to be friends. You want to be his friend. And if you want to be anybody's friend, no matter who they are, you want to do things that please that friend. And you want to do things that person enjoys, like your wife, your husband, or your family, whatever. That's what it's about. And people purposely ignore that because then it gives them an out to rail against Christianity and, oh, I don't need a savior. I hear that speech all the time. And I think, I disagree. We all need something, because none of us are doing the right thing in the end. No, otherwise, this earth would be a better place. It would be a much better place if we were. Yeah. Yes, people do good. There's people that do good still, but I admit I'm getting more and more cynical. Thank God for my wife leveling me out sometimes, because I'd be really cynical if it weren't for her.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's funny, Gnostic, I'll show you.
It's just an excuse so they don't have to believe in Jesus. It's just so silly.
Well, I did over here the video here, the false teachings of Gnosticism.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a long stream there, but it's basically for people that are unaware of what Gnosticism. The simplest terms is that. Stop the share stream. There's something called a monad. So it is God, and it's so beyond us that we can't really attain it. Then there's a demiurge, which is not really a creator, but it's a evil underlord and they often attribute that to Yahweh, the God of the Old Testament. He created the earthly realm. So Gnostics see the earthly realm as evil. So anything earthly is just bad and evil, and that they have a drop of the divine, and they just need the secret knowledge. So
Again, just
they,
like Satan,
yeah,
they believe you can attain
yeah,
your, and that's
yeah.
exactly the opposite of what Jesus taught.
Well, that's it. I mean, Christianity is quite unique in that respect, and I can understand non-Christians thinking it's arrogant, because it's like, no, Jesus is the only way, and none of the others push it as much. So I remember when I was a non-believer, I was like, this is arrogant and stuff like that. But it was really the Old Testament is the best thing that helped, because the Trinity was a struggle with me. So I think when I first started, I was probably more like Unitarian at the time. It was like a whole like process and stuff like that. And it was Michael Heiser that just, it clicked. I was waiting for somebody to explain it. I hear Christians often say stuff like, "Oh, well, it's a mystery. You can't explain it." I'm like, no, no, no. This guy, what he did was he showed the foreshadowing of two powers in heaven. So it's not a trinity yet, but there's definitely a Yahweh in heaven, and then there's a visible Yahweh. So if you look, there's three aspects that he communicates by. You'll hear them sometimes says, "And the word of the Lord came to so and so." Sometimes it's the Spirit of the Lord, and then sometimes it's the messenger of the Lord. And messenger in our Bibles is always translated as angel. But I mean, there are angelic beings, but the word that they use can also mean messenger. So you have these three ways that he communicates, and one of the interesting ones is when Abraham's negotiating with this person, right, about not burning down Sodom. If there's this many righteous, and he goes on, Lot comes out. The passage says, "Then Yahweh rain down fire and brimstone from Yahweh in heaven." So it's the guy is there saying he's Yahweh, but he's also raining down fire and brimstone from Yahweh in heaven. So all what Michael Heiser shows all throughout the Old Testament is these two powers, and that the Jews were struggling with those doctrines. And you know how like Judaism, the rabbis, there's just like probably a whole like wall from there to there of their writings, the midrash, the Mishnah, and I think that they follow right now the rabbinical writings and stuff like that, and they were struggling with this concept because they're monotheistic. But how come there seems to be two powers in heaven, a visible Yahweh? You see like in Daniel, it's 9 or 7, I think it's 9, Daniel 9, you have the Ancient of Days, and you have one like the son, I don't know if it's Son of Man or Son of God, approaching the Ancient of Days. So you do see that there is definitely two powers in heaven. There's definitely like the passage, no one has seen God, but at the same time they'll say, I've seen God face to face. So a lot of this became like completely heretical when Christ arrived, because he was claiming that he was this second power in heaven, this visible Yahweh. So I'll show any of the people interested in that to check it out. He's somebody that kind of earned my trust, so I show the ones that I think bore good fruit. So it's very, very like academic. Unfortunately, it must be a while back, and you can kind of see it, but it's definitely with a projector and stuff like that. It's an older video, and it's 3.5 hours. So he goes through the Old Testament step by step, and personally, I find that it's one of the best apologetics for explaining the Trinity, because if you're trying to use the New Testament, they don't care, right? They're just like, it's corrupt, it's pagan, Constantine added that and stuff like that. But if you can go into the Old Testament and show, look, this is how, look, and then all of a sudden, like it really, it clicked a lot more. So Michael Heiser is definitely somebody that's really interesting to look at. But yeah, the thing with Gnosticism is it's basically salvation through secret knowledge. It's very Eastern. Also, they concentrate more like Eastern religions on the illusions, which is fine. Our brain, our ego does create all sorts of narratives, and then this enlightenment, So what I've experienced, like for example with Zetetic Warrior, that horrible live stream where he was calling my wife a whore and everything, and he was telling me like Yahweh isn't who you think he is, and I was like, okay, this guy's
he knows, of course.
Yeah, but what I saw basically in that situation was his character, and I was like, okay, so what's the point? You're calling my wife a whore, you're swearing, you're talking like a degenerate here, and you have secret knowledge. Like it hasn't, in my head, I was like, I let that guy talk for half an hour before I went on. And then I went on, and I just let him pretty much speak. I didn't have a choice. He was just screaming over me. But yeah, like he shot himself in the foot. I was like, okay, so this is the secret knowledge, talking about all this stuff, and there's no change in your character, no change in your lifestyle. So what's the point,
Well, he was clear when he said, if you don't produce what you're producing with love, it's like a clanging cymbal in his ears.
Yeah.
So if you have all the knowledge of the world at your fingertips, but you're full of hate, you think he cares, you have no legitimacy, because the power of the Spirit is shown in love and gentleness and those series of feelings.
Yeah, there's a passage.
Unbridled anger is the other guy.
Yeah.
And that's how you can always tell. That's what amazes me about so many of the dictators and dictator-like people that have been in charge on this planet. They all look like one person. They all have the exact same personality. That's not a mistake, because they're evoking the spirit of their father. And that's what he acts like. So that's what they act like. If we want to evoke the spirit of living God, we won't act that way.
Yeah.
Except for our occasional human failings.
Yeah. Like I always say, people should judge the Bible by the Bible and what it actually says, and then make a judgment. There's, of course, Christians, there's always a remnant. I mean, who knows who the true church is? It's not outward appearance. It's not me talking about it, you talking about it. I don't know what you're doing, behind the scenes. No one really knows, and it's not up to us to judge. For sure, if we see certain actions, then we should say, well, I'm going to pull back from that person.
Absolutely. And I would expect you to.
Yeah, but no, it's.
But if we're truly seeking after the Holy Spirit as Christians, and we would, even if that were to happen, we would regroup, and there would be asking for forgiveness, and there would be forgiveness, and there would be resolution.
Yeah.
Which is a difference, because that's not what happens in the anger camp. It's just more anger and more resentment until it's a war, and then nothing gets solved.
Well, like what I was been trying to do is that I start my site was a ketogenic and fasting site initially, and then a long time ago, years ago, maybe almost 5 years ago or 4 years ago, I got in contact. I forget how it happened. I got in contact with Patrick from OTW News, and actually a long time ago we did a talk, and I was new age, I was spiritual, I was whatever, I was open to a lot of stuff, and but I was just starting to kind of approach Christianity. I was even embarrassed to say I was initially, it was like a slow process and stuff like that. And I think I fizzled out a little bit, and I would approach Christianity, then I'd fizzle out again. And so we got back together because Patrick's and my channel had remained dormant for a while. So he wanted to revamp it, and I wanted to revamp it too. So I was like, oh, we can, collaborate together and stuff like that. But I find that, and we have extreme differences. Me and Patrick, we worked out our differences. The first live stream with him, it was not good. Like, and I've been trying to step out and go to some of his communities, and they're just not receptive. Instead of saying, okay, he's Christian, it's like, okay, get over it. I know you don't believe in it, but it's the way they just crap on it immediately, and they'll make challenges, but those challenges, they don't give me appropriate amount of time. So I think I'm done with trying to incorporate. I'm like, I don't understand these spiritual communities. They talk about everything and anything. They talk, they're open to Mandela effect, matrix, simulation theory, flat earth, everything and anything. But if I try and arrive with Christianity, there's something there where I can't. I can, because me and Patrick have managed to do it, but these people, they come on, and you can tell that they're not free spirits. They're just as indoctrinated, in my opinion, with their belief structure, because it shows how they have to attack the other persons. It's like one, for example, let me check here. So Freedom Grower did a challenge about a passage, and it's definitely a rough passage. It was this passage, and that's why I saw Freedom Grower in some of the chats I was listening to. I'm like, yeah, this guy's not stupid, and so I've never debated or anything. I'm not somebody who debates. I'm somebody who shares my faith as I learn it and stuff like that. Definitely going to defend it because I believe in it. But this is the passage. Okay. It's we know that Babylon, I mean, that existed since Babel. They enslaved the Jews. They killed their children. They did horrible things, right? To them, they conquered them. So if you read it, by the rivers of Babylon, there we sat, it's pretty much a song. But at the end here, it says, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundations thereof. So you have the Edomites, I think they came from Esau. So they were in a way like relatives of the Jews, but they were encouraging Babylon. Then here it says, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth the little ones against the stones. That sounds horrible. When somebody arrives and says oh yeah, your God wants to dash the little ones against the stone. The issue is that they were going to Isaiah. So this was before Isaiah 13:16. Their infants will be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses will be looted and their wives violated. Now, this is a prophecy by Isaiah about Babylon. Okay. So this song here is them singing, and they tend to use their scriptures. And what they're pointing at here is asking God to promise what he said in Isaiah. So the other thing that we don't realize is that here, when it says, happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Well, who defeated Babylon? Did the Jews ever defeat the Babylons? They didn't. It was the Medo-Persians that destroyed Babylon. So it was the Medes that were happy to smash the heads of the children against the rocks. So when Freedom Grower used that passage to say, look at your God, he's a monster, that was taken out of context. in my opinion, because it wasn't a threat. It was basically saying, look, and especially in the Old Testament, like there was like man was unable to renew their heart or mind. The Holy Spirit was not available to anybody back then. It was one person at a time, whether it was Abraham, or there was one patriarch after another, and then there was one prophet after another, and Moses and stuff like that. God was in communication mostly with one person at a time. The rest of the Jewish nation were clueless. They were always doing the wrong thing, always rebelling, because they just represent everybody. But when Jesus arrived and offered the Holy Spirit, that's that new covenant that they talk about in Jeremiah, where it says, I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel. I'll put my heart and mind, I'll write my laws on their heart and mind. So after Jesus arrived, now we have the ability to renew ourselves through Christ. But back then, it was a brutal world. Back then, it was empires and conquests. Look at when Jesus was born. All of the Jewish children were slaughtered by Herod, right? So,
Mhm.
It's just, they had the mindset of an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. They were unable to accomplish what Jesus asks after and says, you know what? It says, to an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But then, he amps it up, and he's always going about the heart. It says, don't cheat on your wife. But if you lust after a woman in your heart, then you've already committed adultery in your heart.
Again, he was pointing out how foul law is. If you
Yeah.
go by the law, you can't possibly keep up with it.
No.
And that's not saying I don't think we should be lawless. That certainly isn't the point. It's just if that's what you're basing it all on, this basic good and bad, there's no way we're going to keep up. And some of the examples you just gave, because people do evil things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even Christians.
Yeah, of course. In the name of Christianity, people like talk about the Crusades, the Inquisition. They talk about all these horrors, and it's like, yeah, but does the Bible say to go do that? No. So those are just people using the name of God to do horrible things.
Another thing, I should say this because this is a pet peeve of mine. I do have myself. Maybe sometime if we can talk and we're not online, I can speak more freely about some of the things I feel first before we were to talk live. But I do have questions about some passages in the Old Testament and whether whether there's something about them we should question. But we were talking about I don't want to lose my train of thought. Sometimes you can see how my brain's getting older.
You should have seen me. One of the last live streams I did, it was like 6 hours, and all of a sudden my brain shut off.
When I see it in all the communities, like even in the UFO community. But what my point is, in the Christian community, was what I see in the same thing that really irks me is one of the things Jesus told his apostles that was as clear as it could be was, I have given to you freely. Therefore, I command you to give freely to others, as I have given to you. Do not ask for anything, but give freely. And yet, what is the first thing that most Christians do? They come out with a book, or they have some truth, from I've studied Luke. To get more, order this copy of Luke's $23.95 for blah, blah, blah. All of that. That's all totally wrong. If he
like
gave to us freely,
Tom Horn.
we should be giving freely.
Yeah, the Tom Horn does that, and ARRA, Nazuli. There's like a lot of them. You could tell, like you're trying to listen and get some.
What right did they have to make money when Jesus didn't? He was the one, the giver of the biggest truth. And if he said not to accept stuff from people, why is that the first thing they do? So that really bugs me. And it does the same thing. I'm kind of ostracized by some of the UFO community because they know how I feel about that. And it's the same there. These people say they have truths, but you have to join their paid site, or you have to order their material and pay for it, or they just did a really crappy documentary, but if you want to know more, you got to send such and such amount of money. I don't go there. It's not that I'm against making money. It's just that when you're talking about profound truths, if he gave it to us freely and he told us not to take money for, why are they doing that?
Yeah.
It's like the first thing out of the gate, and they're doing that.
Because like Michael Heiser, he's an academic, he's a Christian, and yeah, he has books, but all of his lectures are free online, talking about the books. The Unseen Realm was really cool, and Reversing Mount Herman. All of his stuff is given out freely. So yeah, it's definitely
if you've got something earth shattering that you need to share with everybody, then you should be presenting it to as many people as possible. And in fact,
see, that's go ahead.
I just think it came up again because this person I've been friends with for a long time, the one that judges a Gnostic, he tried to turn me on to this thing that I already knew was a hoax. There's so much to deal with. It drives me crazy. My friends, they're all into this disinformation, and it's sad. But this is supposed.
What does your Gnostic? Because I kind of explained Gnosticism quickly, but I mean it's very wide too. But what was he kind of trying to convince you? What was his?
The Gnosticism thing was separate. This was UFO related. We were friends for a long time, and I was the one that turned him on to certain aspects of what I was researching many moons ago. But this just happened to be, this is supposed to be a transcript of an interview with an alien from the nurse at Roswell,
Yeah, I think I saw it.
Well, he sent it to me, a PDF, right? But I felt uncomfortable right out of the gate because it's a copyrighted work.
Mm-hmm.
But then, and so I ended up deleting it because I said, okay, well, if I'm going to read this, I want to do it right. So I should probably go to let's see if I can find this person, and maybe I can order this, and so he gets a couple bucks for whatever, But it turns out it's a book, and I think he's charging $18.95 for it. But why it bothered me was right at the very beginning of this work, it says, supposedly, this is the nurse, right? She says, please give this to as many people as you can. So what does he do? He puts it in a book and sells it. That's not doing what she asked. Whether she's real or not, he's the one that produced this. And she says right at the beginning, please provide this to everyone, as many people as you can. And so putting it in a book and charging money for it, that's not doing what she asked.
No.
Just like I think what Jesus does, people aren't doing what he asked by charging all this money for truth.
Yeah.
I'm not anti-money. People are probably thinking,
exactly.
Well, it's nothing wrong with me making a couple of bucks, Bob. I agree, it's not, but depends on the thing you're bringing up. If you're bringing up something about the gospel and it's really important, you shouldn't be charging money for it. No. Basically. And that's not me that says that. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Sorry, I get worked up.
No, I completely understand.
It's so rampant.
There is Token Explorer. It's just I can't let you on because I don't recognize you, bud. Because I've let people that I don't know on and they showed porn. So
yeah, no, you gotta only deal with
it. Token Explorer, why don't you chat a bit in the live? Is this the first time that you've ever been on my channel? I just snooped on your channel to see, try and see what you got cooking there. Kind of look at what they're subscribed to, and sometimes you can get a better idea. Because I usually like just rather have people that I know a bit, What up, Ghost? How are you?
Hello. Can Can you guys
I
hear
can
me?
hear you good.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
hear
can
you.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm just chilling and listening to you guys.
Yeah. We're supposed to be on the World Economic Forum. Um,
So
Yeah.
earlier, Robert was talking about he found a dog with some kind of a chip in it. Is that right?
Yeah, it was according to the article I read later, it happened to be the test program, the very first test for the chip. They put in this little dog.
And so why was the dog blind?
Because the chip's purpose was not, especially not that time, it was non-trackable from a distance. It was more like glorified dog tags like we do for soldiers in battle. So the dog was about as close to starvation as it could have been when I found it. It was just on the verge of starving to death. So it had been up there for a while.
Okay, so it was just like to track the dog to find it again after they released it into the wild.
To be able to scan the carcass and see if their equipment worked is what I understood.
Okay.
But my point of it is that if that was really the beginning, like that article said, that my point would be that's the spirit behind this technology, the true spirit. And if they're willing to do that, I don't know. That's like show and tell for me. It's me, but that's the way I feel.
yeah. No, definitely.
It's like showing your hand.
Yeah. Here. Let's try and go a little bit more on the World Economic Forum a bit. I'm just going to present what I have. I just jotted down some stuff quickly.
I gotta get first thing and grab my dinner. My wife left it out in the hall.
Yeah, no
Be
problem.
right back.
All right. Hey, Pat.
Hey, Jason.
How are you, bud?
Is Robert like locked in his room? His wife like comes by and feeds him once a day.
Yeah, he's married like me. That's how it works.
That's a good one.
He's
Hey,
got,
how's
like,
my volume?
little window to slide it in?
It's okay. Your volume's good, Pat.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's go through the World Economic Forum. I just want to read some stuff, and then we can try and like give our opinions on that. In global governance, we see the post-war balance between nation states and the institutional framework that works to manage it disintegrating. I think that it has its issues, but I think that they are purposely, for the reset, disintegrating all of everything from culture, politics, economy, everything. In its place, we see the emergence of new geo-economic competition, new regionalism, and new actors. I like how they use actors because that's basically what they are. Meanwhile, technological change is disrupting our economies and changing the nature of our globalized world in a way that are both unpredictable and complex. We will witness more technological change over the next decades. It'll be faster than that. Advances in the sciences, from robotics and genetics to communication and the social science, will leave no aspect of global society untouched. When I saw about the technocracy, the fourth industrial revolution, I remember the guy said, it's like, we're pushing this forward, no choice, and everything from like the book that you pick up will have, I don't know, like commercials on it or something. It's pretty much going to look like the movie Idiocracy, if you've seen it before.
No, I haven't.
I
don't see many movies.
It's like it's prophetic. It's supposed to be a comedy. What's sad about it is that it's like freaking on point, let's say. Each of
If
these
I want to see prophecy, I'll watch The Simpsons, man.
Yeah, I know. I need that light, Michelle. Sorry, it's okay. Each of these factors and many other require a new kind of institution, one with the adaptability, the entrepreneurialism, and the trust of all stakeholders. Mind you, we're not part of the stakeholding. That can bring together people who have the power to make change, to achieve mutual understanding and empathy, to come to common agreement, and where appropriate, push action forward. Yeah, I I can see that they're really pushing it forward. As an international organization with no commercial interests, give me a break. It's private, public-private enterprise. It's like, of course, there's commercial interest in there. I think it's anywhere from $60,000 to $600,000 that you have to pay to be a partner in the World Economic Forum. I don't know if it's probably yearly. The forum provides a platform for leaders from all stakeholder groups from around the world, business, government, civil society, to come together. What are they saying? The forum is unique, blah, blah, blah. We have no ideological or commercial interests. Talk about a lie. And if you look at Yuval Noah Harari, that speaks on the World Economic Platform, he called us a bunch of like a biological algorithm, algorithm with flesh, treating us literally like an algorithm, talking about the future humans will be the commodities. It's some crazy stuff, and the fact that they're not saying that behind closed walls, and that people are just sitting there and applauding it is extremely scary.
I'm locating my phone.
So we bring attention to challenges that affect the future of global society. Yeah, that's where they're going to use, climate change. I mean, JD from Garland Farms has gone over it many times, and he's going to have to go over it again because we hear the same lie and stuff like that. But that it's not the cows that are destroying the world. I mean, that's completely ridiculous. And it's weird because I'm not completely a climate denier, but I think that I think that it's blown out of proportion. I mean, they were talking about a hole in the ozone when I was a kid, acid rain. You had Inconvenient Truth. Go look at that movie now about like the predictions. The predictions just keep on getting pushed forward, and I think that technology should be integrated, but I not into a technocracy, that's going to basically imprison us. What do you think, Pat?
Oh yeah, they're definitely pushing it in that direction. That's for sure. I mean, you just look at when you go to Walmart and in any store, right? Just like don't even have to watch movies, and you see these automated machines where you serve yourself, and all you have to do is scan your card, and off you go. And there's no more human interaction. So that's just the stepping stone to this cashless society where you're just going to walk in. There's not going to be any tellers or anyone there.
Yeah.
And you're going to have this chip where you're going to pass through. Remember when you'd pass through and they could detect if you'd steal something? They had like these little tags, and
all kinds of
right.
things, yeah.
So these things are going to be like technologically advanced, where that tag's going to be a part of you, but it also is going to have all your bank information and all of your information. And what it's going to do is you're going to every time you take an object out of the tablet or the shelf, and you're going to pass through the thing, it's going to automatically scan the item, which is going to be automatically deducted either from your bank account or directly to your Bitcoin credit card system or your social credit system, which I believe is going to be installed pretty soon. I mean,
you need the
lot
digital money, right? You need the digital before you do social credit.
And my predictions for 2023 are they're absolutely probably 100,000 million percent not that sure, but almost sure that they're going to put this in effect in 2023 around April.
Yeah, and I'm expecting more plagues.
So time is short. Yeah, time is short, guys. Yeah. So if it doesn't happen in April, I'm guaranteeing you guys 2023, you're going to see them pushing Bitcoin or whatever, what kind of currency or social credit system. And,
it's
coming.
First, they have to once it's digitalized, and then they use blockchain, which I just don't know details on blockchain, but I know that it's the way they process information. The information goes into a block, and then once it's full, it creates a chain of blocks. But that you can see the evolution of the transactions and stuff in order and stuff like that. It has some benefits, but it has benefits of tracking us much better. Then after, I think if they want to implement this fourth industrial revolution, there is no need for billions of people, because we were talking about that in the hospital. We were like, you know what, like if we do all of the tests and put it into like all the data into the computer, the algorithm could probably pop out possible diagnoses much better than a doctor, and that could be beneficial. There would still be, doctors, but the whole point is like robots are doing surgeries more effectively, and there's going to be less and less need for people. So what are we going to do with the 8 billion people,
Yeah, well, obviously there's some benefactors to the fact that, like, I don't discount technology in its, I mean, we're using it right now, right?
Yeah.
So, I actually don't have anything against technology because it's something that I've, always aspired to,
Yeah.
Listening to Star Trek or Star Wars or whatever, science fiction, it always gets your imagination going, and hoping that one day humanity might reach some type of utopia,
like the Jetsons,
yeah, or
yeah,
like
the
Star
technology, like you said,
Federation.
the technology itself is not bad, but the problem is who has power over that technology, and that's a small group of people. So that's what's bad. It's
What the problem is with the cryptocurrency that's coming is, how are you going to define its value? Okay, because right now you're working for a certain amount of money, or monopoly money, and you're using that to go to the store and buy things, right? So your salary is dependent on the currency that you're using, right? Which is backed upon whatever this country's backing the currency on, whatever country you're from, right?
It used to be gold
So,
standard.
yeah, but
money used to represent.
that's
It was like a receipt of how much the country's gold they had. Now they just print it. It's already fake, right? It's already like
right, exactly.
everyone's just playing the monopoly money game.
Yeah.
What I see is that they're going to do a global welfare where
Yes,
once it's
exactly.
digitalized,
But you're gonna probably work, like, let's say 2 hours a day, and you're gonna have like this universal income, right? And
universal.
you'll be deducted from this income, all depending on how you react in society, right? Like it'll be, they'll knock off points. So like, when they're telling you that you'll have nothing and be happy, it's because you're gonna be working for a hell of a lot less than what you're working right now. You understand that Bitcoin can be reduced to such a minimal amount where you have to work so much that you probably, you could probably live off those 2 hours a day if you're very, very popular. But if you're not popular, you probably have to work 60 hours a week.
Yeah, that's it.
And just to get the same amount that your next door neighbor is getting for a couple of hours a day, because he's respecting all the social requirements.
Yeah, like I mean, China, the experiment has been done. They're totally surveyed. Like I mean, the technology they have for facial recognition, and that's what they do. You have a social credit score, and if you're not a good global citizen, you get a lower and lower credit score, and then after there's certain things in society you can't even participate in. People that have good, social credit scores get discounts for airplanes, get discounts for this and stuff like that. And in China, when your social credit score is very low, they actually have your picture being popped up on screens, so to like show, to shame you, through society. I've seen it. It's crazy. So yeah, you need the digital money. Then they're going to have to up the technocracy to get all the global surveillance in place. And then after one world currency and then social credit score, And I mean, I'm shocked at Canada. Like they're passing Bill C-11 that is going to block more of the internet. Bill C-11. Did you hear about that? Trudeau's passing that. Bill.
No, I haven't heard about it. This is the first time.
Oh, now I see the comments.
Yeah. So let me screen share.
And what are they gonna be censoring on the internet now, or what our reach to the world? So they're gonna like limit our communications or something, like in Russia.
Yeah, like here, Canada. Well, this is like the official there. I'm not going to read through this. The words are too big, but to enact the Consumer Privacy Protection Act and the Personal Information and Data Protection Tribunal Act, and to make related and consequential amendments to the act. Sounds nice and big. It has to do with internet censoring. That's all I got from it briefly. No, thank you. The bill is intended to apply Canadian content rules to online streaming, but it's incredibly complex and difficult to judge how it will work in practice. So what's in the bill? Why are some independent creators critical of it and calling it the censorship bill? What does it do in an ideal world, and will it actually work as intended? And what does it mean for the average Canadian who loves to surf YouTube and TikTok? There, I'll just read the last part. It's not long. Today's big story guest is vast. The executive, blah, 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 blah. The goal is to require online streaming giants like the ones we're very familiar with, YouTube, TikTok, and contribute to the creation and availability of Canadian content in the way that we do right now with, yeah, right. No, it's whatever the Canadian government doesn't want you talking about, I mean, I don't understand. Like YouTube is already censored, and most of the stuff. Why a bill? No, he's really going after. When they start going after guns, yeah, when they go after guns, I think it was Jordan Peterson. He's talking historically. A lot of authoritarians in the name of public safety banned guns, and then once the citizens didn't have guns, then they were really able to go after them because then they were helpless. Let's see.
All right.
You're too quiet, Ghost. What do you think about this World Economic Forum stuffy? Are you there? Or
Yeah,
are you ghosting?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm ghosting you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that most people will just go along with it. I think the new MO is to just convince people to do it themselves. That way they can do all these things quote unquote legally. Sort of like what Robert was talking about in some sense. They'll just use the law. That's what the governments do now. They just create new laws that allow them to do these things, whereas they were illegal before.
Yeah, when they were doing the whole thing about the Emergency Act that Trudeau put on us, I haven't even followed because I know it's all a bunch of crap. He's not going to get prosecuted. It's all theater. They're going to do their little thing, and he's not going to get any consequences from doing that. It's just theater for the people. But so the great reset. We know the famous "You will own nothing and you will be happy." So basically, we got extremely powerful individuals / corporations, and they're collaborating together for their the government wants the power, the corporations want the data. They share that together, and we're the new commodity. And what they're talking about is a shared economy. I've seen this on TED Talks and stuff like that. It's removing personal ownership, and you always have these movements that start. It's called minimalism. So it's the idea that we have way too much stuff, and that we should get rid of all the extra stuff and we should simplify our lives, which sounds good, and to a certain extent, it's probably correct. But they start these tiny little houses, and they're like, you don't need much. You can just buy this little house. I mean, the wind, like a windstorm, would blow these things down. But they're trying to get us. It's like we're not all hoarders, and there is George Washington said, there is no such thing as personal rights without property ownership. And what they're trying to do is a shared economy. So what a shared economy would be is that, oh, most of the stuff you don't really use. So why should you own it? Why don't you, once we set up this technocracy, this fourth industrial revolution, then you, at the push of a button, if you need a blender, one will arrive. They're saying within minutes. I don't understand, but so they're basically saying don't own anything. But if you don't own nothing, well, it's not that nobody owns nothing, it's that somebody owns everything. And once you have the shared economy, same thing, social credit score jumps in, and now you're getting cut off from the digital economy as well. There's not going to, in my opinion, my Nostradamus prophecy is that driving, that's not going to exist. Maybe as a hobby or something like that. Dirt bikes and stuff will still exist, but what they're going to do is, in my opinion, it's going to be the self-driving cars. And the same thing, let's say we want to protest downtown in Ottawa because we're mad, right? So we start communicating online. AI is all analyzing that. The algorithms are all picking that up. Then you call a car and you want to go to that location. It'll cut you off. It'll say, cannot enter that destination at the moment, or something like that. So they'll be able to, just from the billions and billions of data that's being analyzed from what I'm saying, from what we're typing, texting, searching on Google, it's all being analyzed. Google has done this research where they can actually find out where there's sickness. For example, let's say you got the gastro going around in your community. What people will do is they'll often start Googling gastro, home remedies. They'll look up medication. So just by the searches in certain areas, the algorithm can pick up that there's something going on just from being able to grab searches. And then they're also talking about these smart cities. They want to stuff us into these smart cities. And again, it's very impressive what they're trying to do with the smart cities. I mean, like the traffic control, like how you're waiting at a freaking red light when there's nobody, and stuff like that. Like it'll be able to look at the amount of traffic and stuff like that, and be able to switch the lights based on that. It sounds really good, and it probably is. It's going to have a lot of interesting and in a way beneficial things, but we won't have control over it. And it's just going to be a step-by-step process. And I have this friend at work, and he, like you said, a lot of people will fall for it. This guy is just the typical guy that just follows whatever social media tells him. He watched a documentary, Netflix. He became vegan. He started doing the minimalism thing. When I was the last one in the department, I ended up cracking and taking the damn happy, healthy medicine. And he just told me, he's like, well, in 2 weeks you're gonna be suspended. He's like, just take it and don't think about it. I was like, I was getting jabbed in the nose 3 times a week until I got it. So yeah, this guy is just the typical guy that will just believe every single new thing, and he just goes on about it. He was talking about racism in the United States. What was it? I said something about it, and he implied like, yeah, the United States is racist and stuff like that. And I think personally that they're creating racism. They're causing segregation. This new critical race theory that all of the West is built on white, misogynistic, racist, and stuff like that. There is racism, of course. No one's denied it. I don't think in the States, the history of it, and our Western view, Judeo-Christian values helped us gradually work through it. You're never going to get rid of racism. That's just the fallen nature. You put a white guy. Look at Eminem, his documentary. He was the minority. He was the one white kid in the poor black communities, and they were racist against him. He was getting beat up all the time. So the idea that like white people are born racist. Jordan Peterson speaks out a lot about that. Yeah. So then
I think it's less about races as somebody's just different. If you're the odd one out, of course you're going to get picked on or singled out or whatever.
Yeah.
But it makes sense that would happen.
I hope you, well, if you get mad at me, you get mad at me. It's not that I don't want you to get mad at me, but I'm
already mad at you.
There are aspects of truth to it in the sense, if you look in the 50s, especially the 50s, 60s, it was not uncommon for white guys to lynch a black kid, beat him up, and outside the church, and then they go to church on Sunday and they're all patting each other on the back and good job, that boy deserved that. There is that. You can't deny that.
I was confused about that. Like I saw, is it the movie The Help? I think
it was rampant. It was the way people
I don't know.
thought.
I think a lot of that is probably blown out of proportion.
I lived it. It wasn't blown out of proportion. No. I grew up in the South, and I was the only kid in my family and all our friends that wasn't racist. I don't know why, but I was ostracized by all my family, everybody around me, because I didn't understand why I couldn't play with the black kids. And all my friends were black. We played on the playground. My friends would come up and drag me off the playground. No, it was real. And it wasn't only that. I mean, I agree also that I have also experienced what you were talking about, that every culture is racist. Anybody who says that's not true, they're not real. Everybody bases it on what's good for them and who's got the most people to do what they do. And as soon as that reaches that level where one group has more than others, it starts
flips. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it crossover and it starts happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, surely, racism has always existed, I guess, But, if you think about it, back in the past, you'd have had certain peoples that would travel the world, arrive on some beach somewhere, and then they see a lot of, essentially savage people doing savage things. It would make sense that they would be prone to being racist towards those people.
The savages that were healthier than us now.
I mean, I guess, maybe, but
yeah, if you look at
if a lot of these, older cultures and, for instance, I guess white people and white cultures went through the same thing. They were, warring tribes, and they would go around and do a lot of bad stuff, which we would consider extremely immoral today, raping people, enslaving people, murdering people.
Yeah. No, for sure. Well, Jordan Peterson made a good point. This movement of like, okay, well, we stole the West from the Indians, and they're, for some reason now we have to whip ourselves on the back because of that. But Jordan Peterson said, like, when we arrived on the continent, there was different Indian tribes. They were doing the same thing to each other. They were all warring against each other. They're all taking over territories. So he says, what's the word of paying it back or something? Whatever. What he's saying is like, okay, so let's give it back. Let's give it back to them. So who are we going to give it back to? The Mohawks, the Iroquois, the Algonquins? Like, who had it? There's been warring over the territory. That's just the whole ancient world was conquest. I mean, Alexander the Great tried to conquer the world. I mean, it's just, that's what they do. What is that? I can't see.
Darla and Lisa were talking about my kitty cats. So it's...
Yeah, I saw them walking in the back there.
That's Luna. She has this habit of crawling under things. It's a compulsion.
We have two rescue cats, and they both have one eye.
Nice.
I have to find the pictures. I'll find the pictures next time. Yeah,
where I come from,
rescue.
we call them gator bait.
Rip them
Call
out.
that gator bait.
I love my kitties. I love animals. Period.
Yeah, I like all animals, and I've been really unlucky with dogs. We've tried to have dogs, and they're just the worst dogs. Like, we just can't train them. Beagles are the worst. And Michelle got a beagle, and we were talking to a guy that trains dogs for the border patrol, and they said, like, yeah, the beagles, they have, like, really amazing smell, but he goes, they're the worst to train. So, like, even these professional trainers for the borders hate beagles. They're just so defiant. Let me see what else I have.
I was talking to somebody about my dog had a dog who has no nose, and my friend asked me how he smells, and I said terrible. I stole that joke.
All right, what else do I got here? Who was it that was talking? Yeah, this was the weird. I have no idea why Barb was so mad at me. Like, most of the time, I really try and, like, invite people on and stuff like that, but she was really upset with me, and I have no idea why. I stopped following the thread.
Is that in the comments of that one video you had posted?
But I stopped by in time to hear our amount of walks isn't the thing. True in a sense. For over 5 years, the people I talk to count on me. The few views I get must be who I am talking to, and I also listen to them. Either way, I have videos packed full of information from from an inside angle over 5 decades of research. Maybe it wasn't directed at me, but the few times I came by, or maybe it's just me you don't care about. You never said hello, but I did say it because I remember saying hi, Barb. But I missed tons of comments in the comments section. You never said hello, or when I said hi to your wife, you had like 6 people around. You must think I am on red, the scholar you are, because you are my friend's brother. I wanted to tell you why I don't like you. Plus, you almost yell what you assume like a forceful preacher. I was like, what is it with everyone? I've been called a wannabe preacher. Now I'm the forceful preacher.
It comes with the territory. It comes with the YouTube territory, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I know.
I'll be honest, that comment when I read it, and I'm just gonna say it. It's the person who wrote that sounds very self-important. And maybe they need to take a seat, take a seat and try to think about things like,
on top of it, it's like, I'll pop you on. I want to, like, if she has 5 years of research, I'm like, what's the research on? Come on, and talk, tell me about it. Everybody here I invite on. So I'm not sure. I mean, maybe she just didn't like it. Obviously, if she threw out the preacher thing, I don't know. The only time I think that I could have gotten heated was when Green Freedom Grower was on. Then I was kind of like getting amped up.
Hey, you were not heated. Come on, that was.
I don't know. I haven't looked at it, but
I mean, you were so Canadian. It was, it's not even funny.
Yeah, JD keeps on telling me you gotta start biting back. I'm like, I just want to share. But
this whole thing that we're into, I'm not on any social media except for this, and I'm not even on this very often. And part of it is like this: you get sucked into, whether it's any of the other media platforms or whatever, but it's very easy to get sucked into this where suddenly this becomes your world. Yeah. And if you dare to have a real world, or you get busy, or you're living your life, and you don't check YouTube, or you don't check suddenly you're mean or you're a bad guy or whatever, and you don't realize, I got a life. I'm not going to spend my life on a platform like this.
Yeah.
I'll visit every now and then, and if there's something useful, but we shouldn't like latch onto it and have it be the only thing in our lives, because that's
Yeah.
a sure way to destroy yourself.
Yeah, well, it's like me.
Good point.
I'll be super active, but at one point, if I get busy at work, my research is kind of stalled. I'm pissed off the doctor isn't doing his part that I'm collaborating with. Could have been done months ago, and he's just like saying, "Yeah, I'm going to do this." I don't even know if it's going to get published um, at this point. But when that ramps up again, I'm not going to be doing as many videos or live streams. The thing is that the live streams, see, to get like monetized and stuff like that, which isn't my primary purpose. Even if I don't get monetized, I don't really care. I'm still doing this, but you have to get 1,000 subscribers, and then you have to get 4,000 viewing hours. But the way it works is that live streams don't count. So like I'll get like 600 viewing hours, easily. And if it's not a video that's published that people are watching, it's just a live stream, it doesn't count. So live streams, once you're monetized, it's worth speaking like for 5 hours or something like that, because, if people are sending some super chats, you're making a little bit of money and stuff like that. But yeah, these are super interesting, but they don't count as views. I'm almost thinking with StreamYard, when I finish it, the video is kind of archived. I should delete or put this private, the live, and then just repost the live so that people that didn't see the live, it'll count as views. I don't know.
And again, this should not equate to you as a person. You are who you are, no matter how many views you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you get 2 views, you're still the same guy.
Yeah, I mean, when I was doing the ketogenic diet and fasting and stuff like that, I coached everyone for free, and like I was talking on it about ketogenic diets and fasting because I believed in it, and I lost like 50 some pounds in a year, and the fasting and all that, and my health improved and stuff like that. So I was really passionate about it, and then I started doing the research into it. That was my like red pill. Is that red pill when you kind of wake up from the matrix? That's is it red pill, Pat?
I get them mixed up. Sounds right.
Yeah,
Yeah, the red pill. Yeah,
Yeah.
He offers you either the blue pill or the red pill.
Yeah.
And the red pill wakes you up out of the matrix.
The red one, right? Yeah. So the red one for me was, ironically enough, it doesn't sound like an interest point for that, but it was nutrition, because it was a high fat diet. So I did the research because I was programmed to believe that fat, cholesterol, animal food, everything's horrible about it. Meat will rot your butt, and fat, butter and stuff, use margarine and all that. And then when I started looking at the seed oils, finding out that that nutritional science is just a bunch of statistics and epidemiological studies and food questionnaires, that they and then they with drownings and Brad Pitt movies. Like, of course, you can find parallels everywhere. It doesn't mean that it's causation. So the more that I went into that, the more that I was like, well, if they're lying to us about something as simple as food and telling us that this is healthy, but that's not healthy, and it's the complete opposite, then I became very, very skeptical of freaking everything. So that was like my enlightened, moment where I was like popping out of the matrix, going like, feeling really deceived, and there's just as much research, but it's like here, there was just as many scientists in the last 3 years, what we went through, that had an opposing narrative. They were experts, they were professional experts, scientists, whatever you want to call, appeal to authority, and these people just weren't given platforms. So saying that we're following the science, like Fauci said there, I am the science, the Fauci effect, he called it. It's like, no, science is a method. it's a procedure that we can use, but science is done by scientists, and that becomes scientism. You know, like how many of us really check into all the science about 15 billion years old? Like, did you literally go and open it up, or are you taking it by faith that the priests of science are telling you the truth? You know, there's definitely the more we pull away from God, definitely, like, we're religious animals. Like, we don't realize that we're gonna grasp some kind of ideology, and you know, people have really a blind faith in science. You just hear it being spurted out, science, 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 and it's like it doesn't mean anything to me anyway. Even though I respect what the method of science is, it's really crap science coming out, you know, and it's all paid by these large corporations. So I don't know what to say on
And
that. What else?
it's controlled too. You know, there's a lot of different interests that will, you know, destroy people's career if they have certain findings. They won't allow you to publish it, you know, or they're you know, destroy your career.
Yeah, I mean, I can't in Canada. I can't talk about these new ideologies that I don't agree with. I have no freedom of speech to say that. I could get fired. I have to watch out what I say about the last 3 years because I work in the ICU, and yeah,
I
like
see you.
yeah, ICU. I call it the intensive complication unit. Once you get in there, it's just one thing after another goes wrong. So. What else do we have popped up here? Just share screen.
Did Lisa join yet?
Oh, wait. You know what happens? I often miss. No, I only see the first four. I didn't realize at one point I had to scroll down. I can send another invite. Pat, did you know that guy that was he was trying to get in the studio? His name is the Token Explorer. Are you there, Pat? The benefits of turning off your camera. I'll ask Pat about that. Lisa, if you want to come on also. Guys, just talk among yourself. I just have to go get one thing. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Strike up a convo.
Oh. Well,
Or I can play a video if you guys are too shy. Here, let me put a video.
actually, I was going to bring something up.
Go, bring it up.
Yeah, bring it up.
Okay, because if there's anything I feel I could speak more about that I could hear other people's views, it's my research on the UFO stuff, because I've come a long way. But one of the things I wanted to bring up to everybody to see what they thought is one of the unless you think this is changing the subject too much.
No, go ahead. We go where we want. Go
Okay.
where we go.
Another one of my pet peeves is this that there's this. It's a weird phenomenon that some of the meanest, diehard debunkers are also the people that are doing stuff like SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. So why is it they would, on one hand, chew up and spit out people that have had a sighting of a flying disc or whatever they see, and they're just saying they saw something, and they'll just rip you to shreds. But at the same time, they're sending out signals to aliens to try to tell them, hey, we're over here. Yeah. That really bugs me, because it seems awfully weird. Because why are we shouting out in the cosmos world? Because what if we shouldn't be doing that? Who knows who's out there?
It's like
Well, I mean, it occurs to me that those types of people who are doing things like that, those scientists and people like that, you know, that would, if it's the case that these people are being visited by aliens or actually seeing real UFOs, which personally I'm skeptical of, but if that is the case, then it sort of shows how incompetent these people are.
or there's another
So-
agenda. And by the way, I've had several sightings myself. The first one was with my stepdad, who was in the army at back during right when the Vietnam War started. We were living back east, and this thing, what came right over our car, very low. It was pretty much like a blimp with big windows going on the side. And I was very young, and I was standing behind the trunk of the car. My dad, I think he was trying to fix a flat, if I remember, or there was some reason we pulled over. And I waved, and there were silhouettes of people inside, and one of them waved back to me. And then my dad freaked, threw me in the car, and we drove off.
Wow.
So who or whatever they were, I don't know, but I can tell you for sure they were real, and I saw them, and that's not the only time I've seen stuff. So you're welcome to believe what you want, obviously, but I just want to let you know that because I am not lying. I didn't make it up, and that was one of the reasons I got started in the whole thing in the first place.
Yeah. I'll go along the lines of Jacques Vallée. He was a ufologist. Forget what his specialty was. I mean, no one is officially a ufologist. You just get into it. But he believed that they were not malevolent and that they were interdimensional, not intergalactic. I mean, if you've probably heard me about the first book of Enoch, the Nephilim, the fallen angel. Like that's my narrative. That's my guess. If something happens, And
Well, that was why I understand, and I do, I entertain that as well. But I think that was the reason I brought up what I did first, because I wanted to point out not just the Christianity thing and the hypocrisy of the racism, and that was all accepted in Christianity. It was all accepted, but in the same thing in ufology, we buy into these dark conspiracy stories, and this is but that may not be the complete explanation. Because the reason I say that, because many of the people I've contacted have been in contact with all these years, I would call them Satanists, and yet they're definitely UFO debunkers, and they'll jump on the bandwagon with you on that, like that. So why is that? That seems awfully strange, that the people that are so dark themselves, and they're the ones pushing the alien conspiracy stories. So I don't know. I'm very much open that it's a little bit broader than that. I mean, after all, in the Old Testament, people were visited by men. They were viewed as angels, but they were also described as men. The man did this. The man took his rod and touched the thing, and they all disappeared. So there's a whole range of beings, I believe, that are in I mean, look at the book of Revelations. How many are around the throne of God?
The cherubim.
There are all these different descriptions of these wild beings that look. If we saw them, we would be scared witless. It would be like a horror movie. Yet these are servants of God, and according to the Bible. So I think we've got to be very careful about jumping onto a bandwagon, because many of the preachers that I knew back in the past, they were pushing these things, and yet much of the information they were using was all false. So I don't know. I'm very careful.
Pushing what kind of things?
The fact that it's all demons and etc., and that it's this and they're doing this and it's part of a plan for this, and some of that may be right, but I don't know. I've had other experiences where I'm not so certain, because some of the people I've met are far more evil than I don't know. Like I said, I'd like to talk more in private. Some of this stuff first to see if it. But I definitely have mixed feelings, because many of the people that I've heard preach stuff, the information they have about the history of the phenomenon thing was so flawed that I just didn't want to listen to what they had to say anymore, because it made me wonder, why are you pushing this when you're not even clear on the history of it in the first place?
Yeah.
But they're sure busy pushing their theories.
Yeah. I saw one that was pretty cool. Again, like I have to brush up on Revelation. These are just like, maybe this, maybe that. I'm not making a statement on it. But there's that passage. I saw 3 evil spirits like frogs. Do you know that one in Revelation?
That was one of the ones I was going to bring up, why I'm weirded out that we're having programs like SETI, because it's describing, even though it's described as Jesus, as Christ, as the Christ, but if the passage you're talking about where the woman is about to give birth, and before she gives birth, God,
there's that one. Yeah,
but also he hides her in the wilderness. To me, that's the earth in a sense. It's in the wilderness of space. If you were to go out beyond our solar system, good luck finding Earth if you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the way it was supposed to be. We weren't supposed to be found. We're supposed to be hidden where we are. So we should not be broadcasting where we are if we weren't supposed to. It's just my take on it. I think we were supposed to have.
It's kind of like they're saying, if you look into the abyss might stare back at you.
Yeah.
Here, this is a passage. Try and find it. I'll just Bible.
In the passage, he sends a flood of these things to chase them.
I saw 3 impure spirits that looked like frogs. It's just weird frogs, right? They came out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the prophet. Now, this is just because, like, I saw a lot of people like initially, if aliens were present, if aliens arrived, that would destroy Christianity. And I was like, actually, no. Like it's a wacky fringe idea on the side, but more and more Christians, I'm starting to hear them talk about, Genesis 6, the daughter, the sons of God descending on the daughters of man, these giants, all sorts of stuff. And when you look at it, like these, especially the light orbs, they defy gravity. So to me, it's like, okay, well, if you're intergalactic, I know you might have advanced technology, but it seems like if you're defying the laws of gravity, it means that you're interdimensional in my, a little bit more. But the interesting thing with this, am I still share screening?
I still see you.
Okay, good.
Oh, no, share screen, something else? No.
Yeah, it's frogs there?
Nope.
Oh, just a minute then. No, I'm not presenting here.
You have to present yourself.
Yeah, you have to present every time. And then I've done so many streams where like 5 minutes I'm going on because I see it. But if I don't press present, you don't see it. Yeah, there's a lot of people that kind of pinned.
What scripture is that?
Frogs.
It's in
about the frogs.
Yeah, it's Revelation
16:13. Yeah.
16:13. But there's also. So they're not frogs, but they're like frogs. And if you look at the grays, frog gray. Why can't I find the damn picture? It always pops up and now it doesn't. So if you look at the grays, I'll just write gray alien. So we have the frog in mind. The frog has, small slit, big eyes, no bridge on the nose and stuff like that, right? And when you look at the grays, they do look amphibious. They do look kind of frog-like, no?
Mm-hmm.
So in my head at one point when I had read that, I was like, could these things be three gray aliens in it? Again, I taking things out of context and stuff like that there, but it's kind of something always stuck in my mind. Evil spirits like frogs? Like, what do you mean like that? But if they're coming out of the
like a rabbit hole.
Yeah, if they're coming out of the mouth of the beast, out of the mouth of the false prophet,
the dragon.
And the dragon, it could be like, if these are beast systems and political economic systems, it could be that they're the ones that would push the aliens, like, like Bruce, like everyone's waiting for disclosure in that community. Alien disclosure. When are they going to, disclose this? When are they going to show up? They're always, it's almost like Christians waiting for the second coming, but it'd be interesting if aliens would arrive. I always thought, because the rapture, I was like, well, I said, if they rapture up the Christians, that would look weird. So I was like, what if the Christians get raptured, and then after the aliens, which I think are fallen angels, would arrive right away after the rapture, and just say that we beamed these guys up to the space station to re-educate them, but you guys got the appropriate level of consciousness, and then they would try and implement more transhumanism to say that, well, to be able to travel certain distances, and then they would do some kind of genetic maybe mutation to humans, because that's the narrative that the aliens seeded us, right? Dawkins even says, he's like, no, God don't exist, but he's like, yeah, it's quite possible that aliens seeded us. So
that's kind of the same what I was talking about with the scientists that are so anti-UFO, but they're searching for aliens.
Yeah,
it's kind of that same just dichotomy of, it's like, okay, either I don't know. Yeah. I don't like hypocrisy, and I don't like it when somebody touts stuff without having the full picture, because that's dangerous. Yeah. That's Luna, by the way. I don't mind telling you, because it's the thing I've done most research in. The thing I've been concentrating on the last several years is what would generally be called the Aztec crash story. And the main reason for that, for me, is because what I was specializing in is documentation. I don't like speaking about anything unless I have the historical material or the documents to back it up. And that's what I try to push. And that's what I've been pursuing. And what I found was, on the date a research partner of mine gave me, that he supposedly, obviously, interviewed supposed witnesses. There were a few before they died that claimed that they were there and they saw the disc on the mesa, etc. But the reason I bring it up is because the four of them named the same date, March 25th, 1948. And two of them definitely did not know each other, had never heard of each other. So I concentrated on that date. I thought, okay, here's something to go with.
Yeah.
If something like that happened on that date, there's got to be evidence somewhere that shows. Yeah. Well, I found tons of it. In fact, the latest thing I got is, on that same day, our first Secretary of Defense, James Forrestal, had a meeting with the Armed Services Committee, a rush meeting. It was called really quickly. And then after the meeting, they had a secret meeting with the Armed Services Committee. And he was asking for a drastically more money for the Air Force. And they were changing the legislation that created the CIA. So from the CIA, I got the memo that the deputy director gave to the committee because there was questions about equipment and people. It's a personnel thing, and people don't realize it, but in reality, a lot of things in the government, everything has got to be accounted for. And if it's not accounted for, there are big question marks, and there are meetings and discussions about, okay, what's this? And they did that on March 25th. And the paper given to them shows that they don't have to disclose what they did that day if it was an emergency. And coincidentally, that same day, the chief of staff of the Air Force, the new Air Force, did declare an emergency that day. So we have an emergency and a secret meeting, and that's just small. That's just one little package. I've found just tons of stuff that point to not only at the Army General Staff, but put forth a directive on handling unconventional aircraft, which they say in this document, flying discs, which is what they were calling them back then. They were declared as unconventional aircraft. And this was a secret memo at the time. And I don't know, it's just another thing. I'm just saying, there's a whole bunch of evidence that something really did happen that day. But good luck getting any, because not even the UFO community will get together. I mean, everybody's just butting heads. But I keep getting more and more and more evidence that yes, something did happen, and it was huge, and it's still not being talked about to this day.
Well, if you have more information of it that you want to ever
I've got just so much coming out my ears. It's more than people. It bores people. I've got so much data. They don't want to talk about it because it gets
we can do a little at a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'd be interested, because I know that you guys can also present your screens if ever there. Pat, are you there? I'm not even sure if he's there.
Did I drive people away?
Yeah, you see, you did it. You're killing my stream.
Sorry.
I don't know. I'll remove him if he's not there.
But see, that's what happens.
Yeah.
I'm not even liked in the UFO community anymore.
See, I'll show you this here about the smart city. Then I'll have to take off because it's 11. I have to get up at 6:30. I'll probably try and do another stream this week there. So we're going on 3 hours. Here, we'll just screen share. Okay. It's just 3 minutes. This is the smart cities. Smart coffins.
Smart is your city. Chances are it's getting smarter by the year. Many governments around the globe are racing to infuse technology into just about every aspect of its city's operations. I mean every part, including public transportation, IT connectivity, water and power supply, sanitation and solid waste management, efficient urban mobility, e-governance, and citizen participation. And it does this using every buzzword imaginable, from big data to the Internet of Things. So how does a smart city work? Let's look at 3 examples. Here in Singapore, the city-state might be the gold standard of the most extensive effort to collect data on daily living. The government is now deploying systems that can tell when people are smoking in prohibited zones or littering from high-rise.
See that when I saw like smoking in prohibited zones, the minute that they have the social credit score, if you're doing unhealthy things, then you're going to make the cost the system, right? You're doing unhealthy things. You're going to be a healthcare burden on us. So you will have lower social credit score if you're buying booze, you're smoking cigarettes. So if they're saying in the smart city, they'll know if you're smoking where you're not allowed. It's like, what the? That's
House. Singapore launched its own Smart Nation program in 2014 and will add more cameras like these.
More cameras like these, so they'll see you everywhere.
But the thing is, if we've learned anything from history, especially the last several years, we'll know that, sure, that's going to be going on, but that's not what's going to be going on for the elites. No. They'll be able to do whatever they want, whenever they want. Just like
they'll be eating their Wagyu beef and flying around.
They won't get in trouble.
Jets and stuff, for sure. There's an image of literally the World Economic Forum, I think, with all these globalists, and they have a plate with steak on it. And I was like, oh yeah, okay.
Sinners.
So the government can effectively monitor crowd density, cleanliness, spaces.
See, crowd density. So they'll be able to disperse us if we try. They'll have the cameras, they'll have the transportation that won't allow us to go to certain areas. Check crowd density. Like I said, it always sounds really nice, and it's just that it's the wrong people that are going to be implementing this for the wrong reasons.
And even exact movement of everyone.
Did you want to say something, Robert?
I'm sorry, it was just silly. Just when I saw crowd density, I had this image of a bunch of people going, yeah, them crowders, that's pretty dense.
Oh, yeah, idiots.
Locally registered vehicle. Much of the data it's collecting will be fed into an online platform called Virtual Singapore that gives the government access to how the city is functioning in real time. It could help the government predict how crowds might react to an explosion in a shopping mall or how infectious disease might spread. Over in Dubai, more than 50 smart services from 22 government entities have been rolled out as part of the government's Smart Dubai initiative. Using the government-provided app Dubai Now, you can do things like pay a speeding ticket, which likely captured you on a public camera and then emailed you the ticket directly.
Yay. Stupid thing. What I actually think is they won't even be doing like those photo tickets there that they do on the highways. If everyone has GPS in their car, you know, when I use the GPS or a Google map, it shows me how many kilometers an hour I'm going. So all you have to do is have these smart cars that have a GPS in there, and it knows if you're going over the limit. It doesn't even need to take a picture. It just sends it to the owner of the car.
Yeah.
That's what I think they'll do.
They already have the car. They're already for sale.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You can also use the same app to pay your electric bill, call a taxi, track a package you sent to your friend, find the nearest ATM, renew your vehicle registration, track the visa status of a relative, and report a violation to the Dubai police.
Track a visa thing of a relative? That's weird.
Now head over to Barcelona, where one research firm estimates the city will save billions of dollars a year in energy costs just by installing smart systems like these. Number one, smart streetlights, public lighting that adapts and dims when there's no activity but brightens up when sensors detect motion. The second, parking sensors. Instead of driving in circles looking for a spot to park, drivers can get real-time information on an app which locates free parking spots.
Okay, just that is worth being enslaved. Okay, screw it. I'm all for the B system. Come on, Klaus Schwab, find me frickin' parking in Montreal.
Sensors on the street curb use lighting and metal detectors to know if a parking spot or loading area is occupied. And finally, garbage sensors, which are actually compact drop-off containers which have a vacuum network through pipes which sucks up trash below ground.
Yeah, you know people get stuck in
waste
that.
collection not lowers noise pollution
I dropped
from
my
garbage
baby.
trucks, but also lowers costs and keeps bad odor away. Juniper Research estimates that by 2021, cities will save nearly $19 billion by making their cities smart. But of course, to save money, sometimes you have to spend it first. The global smart city market is estimated to attract $15 billion by 2021, and that's just for software. So now companies from Microsoft to Cisco are aiming for a piece of it. In Singapore, Upton Saidi, CNBC.
Yeah, it just looks like a mechanical nightmare waiting to happen.
It's just
These people
waiting to
don't.
happen. Yeah.
These people don't think about this stuff really deeply, you know. So dump your trash down a tube. That's just going to get clogged up within 30 minutes. That's over with. Or dig up the ground and.
A good way for the cartel to be. They don't have to dump it in Lake Mead anymore. You know, they got these trash bins.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a dark thought,
this is
that's the truth.
This is from Forbes. Welcome
they'll
to
really be
2030.
sewer gators.
Yeah. Eating those eating the local.
Oh, hey, Jason, I keep saying this in chat, but you really got to get a Discord server. You ought to make a Discord server and let people join, and then people can talk and share links. And like Robert was talking about Discord? A lot of the research and
I've heard of
stuff that he was researching into. Like that'd be interesting to see some of the links that he has, and you know.
So what? I just get a Discord account, download the app, and then
it's like those things. You can do the free one, or you can pay whatever. I think.
Depends
on how much you want.
Yeah, and you can invite whoever you want, you know, that kind of thing. It's sort of like Telegram. If any of you guys have used Telegram,
no,
kind of like that.
I've heard of Discord. Yeah, I can check into that definitely. Here, well, I'll read this one quickly, and then I'll have to go because it's getting late. It's 11:20. I got to work in the morning. Welcome to 2030. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better. Welcome to the year 2030. Welcome to my city, or should I say our city? Aw. I don't own anything. You guys, I'm share screening right now?
No, but it's okay. Just read it. You don't have to share screen it. We know you're telling the truth.
Yeah, exactly. We know you're telling the truth about that guy lying right now that you're reading. I don't own. Yeah. So welcome to 2030. Welcome to my city, or should I say our city? I don't own anything. I don't own a car. I don't own a house. I don't own any appliances or any clothes. You just like update your clothes, update just brings you something new. It might seem odd to you, but it makes perfect sense for us in this city. Everything you considered a product has now become a service. We have access to transportation, accommodations, food, and all the things we need in our daily lives. One by one, all these things became free, so it ended up not making sense for us to own much. Yeah, that's a pipe dream. The promised utopia.
We're already there. It's called homelessness.
Yeah, exactly. First, communication became digitized and free to everyone. Yeah, of course, you want communication to be free for everyone so they can monitor it. Then, when clean energy became free, things started to move quickly. We're far from being able to produce the amount of clean energy that we need. If imagine if all the cars became Teslas right now, it would completely collapse the grid. It's risky, but to me, like nuclear would be the bridge between in the future what we could get. But I know it's risky, and with war and stuff like that, you end up having like a nuclear accident. Transportation dropped dramatically in price. It made no sense for us to own cars anymore because we could all call a driveless vehicle or a flying car. The Jetsons. Longer journeys within minutes. We started transporting ourselves in a much more organized and coordinated way when public transport became easier, quicker, and more convenient than a car. Now I can hardly believe that we accepted congestion and traffic jams, not to mention the air pollution from combustion engines. What were we thinking? I mean, look, I'm all for these fast trains and stuff like that. Yeah, do more of that. Maybe I would take it if it's convenient to go somewhere, but I want the option of using that or owning my car. They're removing the option. Like when they talk about this, they're again, it's not going to be like voluntary. It's going to be like, no, there's no more cars. Aren't they doing that in what is it? Is it California that there's a lot? There was energy issues that I saw. In the news, or am I taking the wrong
Yeah,
state?
which energy issues? We have a lot of
Like
issues.
they were telling like citizens not to put the air conditioning on, and
Oh yeah, we
we
got
saw
we can't
pictures of
use your
Teslas with
fireplace.
yeah, but like there was Teslas that had like gas powered generators, so they were putting gas in the generator to power the Teslas, stuff like that. That was online pictures. I don't know if that was in context, but it was kind of funny to see that. Sometimes I use my bike when I go see some of my friends. I enjoy the exercise and the ride. It kind of gets the soul to come along on the journey. Funny how some things never seem to lose their excitement. Walking, biking, cooking, drawing, growing plants. It makes perfect sense and reminds us whatever. While you're trapped in a big city. In our city, we don't pay any rent because someone else is. Yeah, this is weird. In our city, we don't pay any rent because someone else is using our free space when we do not need it. My living room is used for business meetings when I'm not there. That's weird. I don't want anybody like coming in and doing a conference in my. But it's true. I don't own anything and I have no privacy, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. Once in a while, I will choose to cook for myself. Oh, wow. What a treat. It is easy. The necessary kitchen equipment is delivered at my door within minutes. Like this is not real. What do you think of all these pipe dreams?
Exactly that.
Yeah, that's a pipe dream. Since transport became free, we stopped having all those things stuffed into our homes. We keep a pasta maker and a crepe cooker crammed into our cupboards. We can just order them when we need them. Is it longer? Yeah.
From people we absolutely trust.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to poison us.
No, like if you've seen any of my previous streams about the spermicidal corn, like they can genetically modify food definitely into weapons. It affects sterility and many other things. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to cut it.
Before you go, I want to apologize if I confused anybody or if I said anything that, I know it's very controversial, and I
No, you
admit
didn't.
that, but I don't want to lead anybody off into a confusion.
No,
Yeah.
we're
Well, like,
we're here to... Go ahead, Ghost.
I think it's really, I mean, it was confusing to me because, that's a lot to sort of take in, but
We need a presentation.
yeah, I think that's probably what's needed, like maybe a stream or a conversation that just is about that subject.
Yeah.
But I think it is very interesting. And it's to me, it's not offensive. I'm open to hearing people out and things like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I always like my thing is, let's share. That's fine. Okay, like you don't have to spit on my view. You could just say, "Oh no, I see it this way, and this is why I came to that conclusion." It's like, great, here we go.
Mhm.
Me and Patrick worked it out and stuff like that, and we can not agree, and that's
Yeah.
it. We just share that's my view. It's like,
We
oh,
agree
okay.
that we don't. It was like, because we do. It's not all the subjects that we talk about that we don't agree on. So we just
No,
talk about
this
the ones that
we
we
agree
agree
on.
on.
And I also want to say hi, Darla.
Yeah. Hey, Darla. Well, that's what I'm saying. I keep on trying to put my foot in, the communities where you go, and Awake TV was nice, but I really didn't get into much or anything like that. But it's kind of like, okay, guys, okay, fine, I'm a Christian. Like, ask me questions about it, and I'll share it. But it's like I find the mainstream Christianity, it gets kind of shot down in those communities, and I'm like surprised. I'm like, well, you guys are like spiritual and stuff like that, and then everyone has all sorts of different
But
views.
you haven't visited all of them. I do go to Christian channels, and I just don't mention. I don't comment about stuff because some Christian channels bring up what my channel is all about, which is out of this world stuff, right? So
Yeah.
um,
Well, let me know
I like.
if you're on those kinds. I'll go. I mean, Awaken or Awake TV. I had a good experience there too.
Yeah. I hear they bring up a multitude of subjects, which is a pretty wide variety. And you also have Red Squid, which is actually a very impressive channel. He brings up PowerPoint presentations and stuff, and he does a very good job. So,
Yeah.
and I go there. I go also onto Voyage's channel, which is another awesome guy. He's from the Netherlands, and he feeds birds. And he has his own views on things, and he doesn't always agree. And even what's fun is sometimes he flips out on people on his own channel.
Wait,
And I was like,
he feeds birds?
yeah, it's cool. He just turns his laptop around and he throws bread at birds, and birds just come and swoop by and grab the bread right in the air.
That's cool. Yeah, I like to eat birds, so we probably get along.
I have an app for that. All right, man. I already went way too late, 3.5 hours, so I'm gonna have to cut it short. That's short for me.
Yeah, Jason, look into that Discord, man.
Yeah, I'll check into it. Yeah,
all right,
definitely.
Thanks for
all right, guys.
Nice seeing everybody.
See you soon.
Thanks,
I'll
Lisa.
do another
Thanks,
stream
Tara.
soon enough. See you guys. All right. Didn't get through everything, but had a great conversation. Again, and I invite everybody that I know to please come on. I had the token explorer tried to come on, popped into the studio. I didn't allow him because I don't know who he is. So you have to be at least kind of a regular here. I got to see you in the live chats for a while, and then we go from there. It's a trust thing. No more porn showing up on my channel. I've had that experience. Peace out in God.